presentation of the Bulldog Sports Network.
You can wrap it in maroon and white.
Live from News Park in Starkville, this is Mississippi State Softball. Mississippi State Softball is sponsored by C-Spire, customer inspired. First pitch is just moments away. Now let's go live to the broadcast booth for Mississippi State Softball.
Good evening to you, and welcome into the Bulldog Student Sports Network on Learfield. I'm Ty Goldman, alongside John Wesley Cochran, and today it's Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina here at News Park in Starkville, Mississippi, on the beautiful campus of Mississippi State University. Bulldogs lost Game 1, won Game 2. The series is split, and a deciding rubber match is upcoming shortly. Bulldogs 31-7 now on the season after the win last night, 3-5. In Southeastern Conference, Gamecocks 22-14 and 2-6 in the Southeastern Conference with a win yesterday. Mississippi State has now taken all 3 Game 2s in their 3 SEC series so far this year, but looking for that elusive Game 3. Have not finished out a series with a Game 3 win yet. On the line today, the first series win for either ball club, both Mississippi State and South Carolina looking for their first, and one of them's going to have to win this evening here in Starkville. Game 1 was a 2-0 South Carolina win where the Bulldogs got excellent pitching from Alyssa Faircloth. Got some runners aboard, but could not move them over in scoring position and to get them home. Bulldogs obviously no runs in that game and lost 2-0. But yesterday things were different. Bulldogs got some runners on, got some runners over, and got some runners in the score. And John, the offense has seen improvement from Game 1 to Game 2 in this series, enough to win 2-0 last night.
No doubt, and it was thanks to a little bit of help from maybe a little error just to get them some things sparked, get some life on the base path for Mississippi State. But nonetheless, they take advantage of the mistakes that the Gamecocks gave Mississippi State. You get a big base hit from the freshman Keller, and then life has just entered into News Park. Would love to see that carry over today in Game 3.
So you look at that base hit from Kinley Keller. All 2 runs came in the 6th inning. And, John, all runs have been in this series have been scored in the 6th inning. Carolina scored their 2 in the 6th inning on Saturday, and State scored their 2 yesterday in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Started off for Mississippi State. I mean, they were able to get a runner on, and Paige Ernstis comes in, able to bunt a runner over. That was Nadia Barbary who reached with a leadoff single, and then Allie Supan came in to run for Mississippi State. And like you said, a little bit of help from an error from South Carolina. It was their first error all series and the first error for any team all series. But listen, situational softball right there, and it was just the little things for Mississippi State that won them for them. Ernstis does her job there with that bunt, and then you're also rewarded with a freshman making a huge play late in the game as well, able to drive one into center field. It was just the little things from the younger players. Ernstis, a sophomore, from the younger players last night for Mississippi State that won the ball game for them.
No, yeah, it was definitely a copy-paste of the previous game. This time it's Mississippi State. They finally take advantage of the small things, and that's what it takes to win games in the SEC. It's not always the prettiest. It's not always the big hits. It's the small plays, and it's not only that, but it's the players that are able to deliver in the moments like that. I mean, it doesn't take much. You lay down a sacrifice bunt, you advance the runner, and then you're able to get the ball and play. It doesn't have to be the most pretty or beautiful outcome, but nonetheless, it's what able to score runs, and that's what it takes to get a W against a highly competitive team in South Carolina, and that's just the story of what the season is for Mississippi State in the SEC.
Yeah, State, I mean, minimal growth, but growth nonetheless. I mean, you look back at Game 1, State struggled with runners on and runners in scoring position. I believe 2 for 15 in game 1 with runners on, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And then last night, 3 for 10, so you're 300 with an average as a team with runners on last night, and 1 for 7, although 1 for 7, you might be like, Ty, that's not that great. But it was enough to win the ball game last night, so minimal growth for Mississippi State, but they continue to grow throughout this series. And it was enough to win the ball game last night because the fantastic outing from Peja Gould, another complete game shutout for her, coming off that no-hitter during the midweek on Wednesday against Middle Tennessee State, against UT Martin. Got the Tennessee schools confused there, but John Peja was electric last night.
Man, it is really nice to have not one but 2 or just multiple starters that Mississippi State can go to at any point throughout this entire season. But the fact that we're able to get a really quality start from Faircloth, and then you get Peja Gould, who comes out the next day and does even better and gives you phenomenal 7 innings and gets the job done. And it's going to be really nice to have her again. But nonetheless, I mean, she goes 7 innings, only gives up 2 hits, and we saw a couple of walks throughout the game, but we saw very quickly how she was not bothered in the slightest, and we saw multiple times how she was able to rely on her defense to either ground into a double play or get that little pop out or a strikeout, and she was not rattled in the slightest.
Yeah, Bulldogs defense was fantastic yesterday, and like you said, 3 walks for her yesterday, but Carolina only had 2 opportunities with runners in scoring position yesterday, so when runners got over to first base, they weren't able to move 60 feet to second very often. So she was able to pitch great, obviously, the whole game, but with runners on, she wasn't phased in the slightest. So it'll be Peja Gould starting today, and we'll get those starting lineups for you in just a little bit. And probably a bullpen day today for Mississippi State. May not see another complete game unless she just has a crazy one, but you could see all 3 today. You could see Gould, you could see Faircloth, and probably Layla Amon, who hasn't pitched so far and has been fantastic all season for MSU. Well, that's going to do it for our pregame show. We're going to take a break for the national anthem here at News Park and be back in just a moment. John Wesley Cochran went down and got an interview with our head coach Samantha Ricketts before the ball game, so we'll air that for you now and be back in just a moment with the starting lineups for today's rubber match Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and Learfield.
I'm here with head coach Samantha Ricketts. Coach, you tie up the series with last night's win. What's kind of the message to the team here going in, trying to take the series win?
That we have to understand it's never going to be easy in this conference, and it's going to take everybody. And whether that's owning your role in the dugout or coming in off the bench for a big pinch hit or late inning defense, but just everybody being ready at all times.
Right. So I feel like the name of the game has been timely hits. You get 2 really good quality starts on Saturday and Sunday. And so what does it kind of mean to have timely hits followed up by really quality starts?
Yeah, I mean, we know our pitchers are going to give us great outings every time they're out there, and just trying to have their back and get some runs on the board for them. And I think we know we haven't put together our best performance offensively yet, so just trying to find ways to continue to make adjustments and learn from the previous games as we move forward.
Yeah, so you mentioned about the small plays and how those add up with like the sac bunt and aggressive base running. What's it going to mean to have those small plays add up for us, especially like a big game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of inches, and I think every little detail matters, whether it's a bunt or hitting behind a runner to let him move or making the routine plays on defense. And in this conference, those are going to matter. So just trying to play as clean as we can in all 3 phases so that we can finish out strong this weekend.
That's all. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Trey Willis, shortstop.
Marshall Jones, first baseman.
Alex Philbin, center fielder.
Hi, I'm Tim from C Spire. Am I in the right place?
It always pays to have the right players on your team. That's why C Spire gives you fiber-fast home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and best-in-class business solutions, all backed by local 24/7 support. C Spire, customer inspired.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Jake Mangum here. When I'm at the plate, I'm always looking for an edge. So when I'm shopping for auto insurance, I'm always looking to save. That's why I'm going with Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance to keep me covered. They're always finding ways to save you money, like a 7% discount when you sign up for paperless billing and documents. Go to msfbins.com and discover how much you can save on auto insurance, or find a local agent and get started today. Go with the home team. Go with Farm Bureau Insurance.
Bulldog fans, are you looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Look no further. Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi offers the experience of a lifetime. World-class entertainment, unique shopping, and the ultimate in fine dining. And if that's not enough, hit the links at the world-renowned Azaleas and Oaks courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and complete your stay in luxurious relaxation at the spa. Your exhilarating weekend awaits only at Pearl River Resort, where you'll be at the center of it all. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran here for Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina, a rubber match, Game 3. Both teams have taken one apiece, and both teams looking for their first conference series win this season. First off, we'll look at the South Carolina Gamecocks as we get to our starting lineup. They're coming in at 22-14 and 2-6 in the Southeastern Conference after the loss to your Bulldogs yesterday. And leading off for them, the freshman left fielder who's been sensational, Quincy Lelio, a .406 average coming into the ball game. Batting second, and at second base, the junior with a .376 average, Carly Shelton. Batting third, and in center field, the junior Tori Inslee coming in with a .351 batting average. In the cleanup spot over at first base, the senior Ariana Rohde with a .258 batting average. Batting fifth, out in right field, the senior Jamie McKay, a .288 batting average for her. Batting sixth in the designated player, the junior Alyssa Hovermail, .312 batting average for the junior designated player. Behind the plate, and number 15, the senior Lexi Winters, a .259 batting average. Batting eighth, the third baseman, and over at the hot corner, the sophomore Tate Davis, .296 batting average. And then at shortstop, rounding out the order, the sophomore in number 3, Shay Anderson, .284 batting average for her. And the starter who started in Game 1, and we'll get more info on her in just a moment when we get to the bottom of the first and state bats. That's Emma Friedel, junior, with a .364 ERA. The righty, 8-3, got the win on Saturday and will pitch against Mississippi State and start against Mississippi State once again. John, let's hear the starting lineup for Mississippi State.
That's right. Thanks, Ty. Leading off for the Bulldogs and playing right field will be Kiara Sells, the clear-cut best bat on the roster for Mississippi State. Batting second and playing shortstop will be Morgan Stiles, who goes 2 for 3 last night, sitting at .362 on the season. Batting third and playing at third base is Nadia Barbary. Cleaning up for the Bulldogs, the first baseman, Paige Ernstus. And left field will be Morgan Bernardini, who bats fifth. Pretty much the exact same first 5 batters as last night. Batting sixth is the center fielder, Kinley Keller, who gives you a nice insurance run last season with a RBI double last night. And then batting seventh, the designated player tonight, Anna Carter, sits at .255 batting average, the lone left-handed hitter for Mississippi State tonight. Behind the plate and batting eighth is Des Rivera, and rounding out the order is Zion Romero, the second baseman in the 9-hole spot. That'll do it for Mississippi State's batting lineup.
And for our starter today, John, it's the senior righty out of Stockton, California, UT Chattanooga to transfer. John, we saw her last night. We're going to see her again tonight. Peja Gould. Peja coming in after last night. Let's hear what she did last night one more time.
Boy, I am happy that Peja Gould is back in the circle tonight. She gave us a phenomenal outing last night. Goes 7 innings pitched. Only gives up 2 hits against a really, really solid team in South Carolina. Doesn't give up a single earned run. She only walked 3 batters, but like we talked about in the pregame show, she was not rattled in the slightest, and she was able to be backed up by her defense, able to ground into a couple of double plays. She finishes off the night with 9 Ks. Man, Ty, if we can have a similar outing like last night, it'd be really good for Mississippi State to get back on track in conference play.
Yeah, we'll see how she fares tonight. It'll be interesting, too, with her going through the lineup, about 3 times last night. So we'll see how Carolina reacts to that. And State has obviously seen the starter in Emma Friedel for South Carolina, so we'll also see how Mississippi State's lineup reacts to that as well. And again, I mentioned could be a bullpen night tonight for Mississippi State too, because we still haven't seen the phenomenal Layla Amon yet, so we should probably see her at some point tonight. And unless Peja Gould's got a no-hitter going tonight, I'm sure we might be able to see her. But her numbers on the year, senior season, like I mentioned, righty, 1.25 ERA, 13-4 after the win last night. This will be your 23rd appearance and 16th start. It's gone 9 complete games, thrown 95 total innings, 45 hits, given up 24 runs, 17 earned, 23 walks, and after those, 9 strikeouts last night, 131 strikeouts on the season, and batters averaging a 138 average against her. Top 10 in the SEC, top 5 in the SEC, and K to walk ratio, Ks per 7 in WHIP. In a lot of different stats as well. So she's been fantastic all season. So that's your starters for today's ball game. Again, I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. Happy to be with you for today's rubber match between these 2 ranked squads, and both squads looking for their first conference win of the season. Bulldogs in all gray, more of like if you ever see Tennessee smoky gray, that's kind of what it looks like out here. So all dark gray, and Bulldogs with maroon script state across the front with white outline, and also maroon numerals in white outline as well, right below that E in the T in script state. And South Carolina in all white. Don't believe that's pinstripes today. No, just all white with looks like black and garnet piping. The baseball SC logo, also the softball SC logo across the left chest, and then across the right side on the bottom of their jerseys, numerals in garnet with black outline, and that logo garnet and black outline. Standing in going to be Quincy Lelio to get this thing started for South Carolina. A beautiful day here in Starkville, Mississippi, and a beautiful day for SEC softball. The 0-0. Misses low for ball 1. Our first pitch at 6:02 p.m. Central Time here in Starkville, Mississippi.
Man, beautiful weather tonight, isn't it, Ty? 66 degrees and sunny, little bit of wind, not too much. It's a pretty day.
Very beautiful outside. First pitch miss, like I said, and this one misses high and tight, 2-0 to Lelio. Had a great game in game 1, but last night went 0 for 3 against Peja Gould, and the 2-0 to her. Catches the outer half for strike 1. Our umpire, same 3, but they shift again. Scott Mayer behind the plate. Over at first is Tatum Stolting, and manning third and second is Alex Leap. The 2-1 to Lelio. Swung on, sent into shallow right, and ranging in is going to be Kiara Sells to make the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, we saw it last night, and we see it here again, and Peja Gould is just able to pitch to batters in a way that she's able to play to her defense. She's able to get plenty of outs, and, whenever you have athletic outfielders like Kiara Sells out in the right field, it makes Peja Gould's job a little bit easier in extending her innings.
Carly Shelton now going to stand in, hits one hard over towards the first base. Camera heads up over there. It's a foul ball on the count 0-1.
Yeah, got to keep your head on a swivel over there, as that was pretty close over there for our poor cameraman down the first base line.
So 0-1 to Shelton, junior second baseman, and another line drive, and this one unable to be grabbed on a short hop by Romero, and Shelton will reach, and there's a base runner for the Gamecocks in the top half of the first inning.
Yeah, we saw a lot of activity last night over at second base with Romero. That one just clips right off the edge of a glove and rolls into right field. Unable to field it. Mistakes happen, but definitely have to clean it up. Otherwise, the Gamecocks will take advantage.
So that's going to be an error for Romero, and the first error of the series for Mississippi State. That'll bring up Tori Inslee. Swing and a miss, or rather, a foul ball back to the netting for strike one. Inslee last night in the Bulldogs win 0 for 3, struck out twice against the Bulldogs righty in Peja Gould. Down on the count already, 0-1 here, and here comes the 0-1. This is outside, and the count will even. 1 ball and 1 strike. Average now for Inslee at .351. .318 batter with runners on base this season. Shelton over at first base. This one catches the inner half. Now the count 1-2. So Gould doing a good job here after that first at bat with Lelio. Back with Shelton and Inslee working ahead now.
Peja's not afraid to throw it inside and challenge those batters.
This one right down the middle for strike 3. First strikeout of the ball game for Peja Gould, and Inslee goes down looking. Her 3rd strikeout against Peja Gould this series, and the Bulldogs have 2 down in the top half of the first.
Yeah, 9 punch-outs last night. She's looking to continue to do a similar game tonight as she's back in the circle. See if she can keep it up.
First pitch to Ariana Rhodey, going to miss for ball 1. Now 33 strikeouts in SEC play for Peja Gould. It was her 6th appearance, so averaging, what's the math on that, John? Well, we'll take care of that later, as Nadia Barbary with a nice diving play on a hard line drive, and that's out number 3. So that sends us to the bottom half of the first inning. Mississippi State able to escape the error that is made by Romero. No runs, no hits, no error, or 1 error. I just said that, and 1 left on base as we head to the bottom half of the first inning. And John, will keep it right here as we kind of introduce the starting pitcher for South Carolina today. But a solid start to the ball game for Mississippi State, and really for Peja Gould, a great job to overcome that play that was not made out in the infield, and able to work her way through.
No, yeah, you get the punch out, you get the fly out, and you're able to get a line drive right to the third baseman. Keep your heads up, because that is a tough play to make it, as Ty Goldman likes to call it, the high corner. So I'm telling you, it could be in for another night like that for Peja Gould to rely on her defense once again. But nonetheless, we have another very talented pitcher in the circle tonight for South Carolina, as Emma Friedel. She comes into this game as she came in to pitch for the Gamecocks in game 1, but
started in that ball game.
Yeah, wasn't able to go the distance. She only pitches 2 2/3, gives up 4 hits. So let's see if the Bulldogs can take advantage of a similar situation here in game 3.
Yeah, gave up 4 hits in that game, no earned runs. The State did not score in that one. 1 walk and I believe 4 strikeouts in that ball game. She threw 53 total pitches. Fun thing about game 1 too, I noticed this in the post-game show. Combined, both teams each. You look at between Friedel and Hurd, they threw a combined 110 pitches, and Alyssa Faircloth threw 110 pitches in that ballgame. So both teams each threw 110 pitches. I thought that was a pretty neat thing to look at on the scorecard. But again, you look at Friedel, a scoreless outing to start last game, and in game 1, coming in a 3.85 ERA, 3.64 ERA right now. 8-3 on the season so far, so has been pretty solid for South Carolina. She'll face off against Kiara Sells here in the bottom of the first inning. The first pitch to her swung on and fouled back for strike 1.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kiara Sells is not afraid to attack on first pitch. She loves to swing the bat, and if it's in the zone, she's going to try to get a lick on it.
There's the 0-1 to her, and aggressive again, but fouls this one back to the netting, and quickly now the count 0-2. Sells last night 1 for 2, and on Saturday had a hit, I believe, as well. 2 hits in this series so far. Here's the 0-2, catches the outer half, and here's a called strike 3 to start the inning for Emma Friedel.
Yeah, and that's kind of the situation where being an aggressive hitter might come back to bite you, because if you don't find your pitch, you get a couple foul balls, you're behind in the count, and that gives a lot of leeway for these pitchers in the SEC to be able to pitch whatever pitch that they want to. That could be an off-speed pitch, or that could be a nice framed fastball.
Morgan Stiles going to stand in. First pitch to her, catches the inner half for strike one. Nothing but strikes so far here from Friedel. The 0-1 to Stiles, swung on hard. The hit over to Davis at third base, but she's able to corral it and throw her over to first in time for out number 2. John, between both teams, we've seen hard contact throughout this ball game so far.
Yeah, lots of hard-hit ground balls, but the defenses are reacting, and that's what we see with these defenders and their ability. This is just a routine, another day in the ballpark for a lot of these ladies, but they're able to react, and especially over at third base.
2 outs quickly in the inning. Bulldogs trying to avoid being retired in order. Nadia Barbie going to stand in. First pitch to her, misses low. 4-1. Barbie's average after 2 games so far in this series at 347 right now, has reached in each ball game so far. The 1-0 to her. Grounded over to third. Backhanded play from Davis. Throw over almost a little high, but Rhodey able to sky up in the air and grab it. And that's out number 3. So the Bulldogs go down in order in the bottom half of the first inning. And, John, that'll send us to the second as the first ends here. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base for Mississippi State. As we move to the second inning, we're still scoreless, 0-0. Bulldogs will have Peja Gould back in the circle, and Carolina will have 5, 6, and 7 due up. McKay, Hovermail, and Winter. 0-0 as we head to the second. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and Learfield.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Bulldog fans, are you looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Look no further. Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi offers the experience of a lifetime. World-class entertainment, unique shopping, and the ultimate in fine dining. And if that's not enough, hit the links at the world-renowned Azaleas and Oaks courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and complete your stay in luxurious relaxation at the spa. Your exhilarating weekend awaits only at Pearl River Resort, where you'll be at the center of it all. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. We head to the top half of the second inning where the Bulldogs and the Gamecocks are tied at 0 in this rubber match game 3. John, we've seen hard contact from both teams throughout that first inning, but scoreless and hitless so far, and Gamecocks in the middle of their order here facing off again against Peja Gould.
Yeah, definitely should have been a disclaimer before this that whoever's playing third base tonight is going to have a busy night. A lot of probably 3 or 4 hard-hit ground balls already hit over towards the left side, so buckle up and get ready.
Jamie McKay going to stand in. This one, a knuckler hit over to Romero at second. Nice throw over off balance to Ernstis in time for out number 1. That one hit off the end of the bat there and just kind of spun around a little bit in the infield dirt, but Romero able to corral it for out number 1.
Yeah, not every day you see a ground ball like that. Definitely a screwball, if you will. It just taps just past the right side of the circle and gives you a little bit of a top spin, and Romero has to adjust and makes a nice throw over to first base for out 1.
Alyssa Hovermail now going to stand in. First pitch to her in the right-handed batter's box down the middle for strike 1. Looking at Hovermail in game 1, had that big 2-out, 2-strike RBI, 2 RBI single in the right to give the Gamecocks the lead and eventually give them the win, but she's down the count now 0-2.
Man, that is a pretty pitch. That sweeper right inside moves from right to left, right in the zone.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the ball game for Peja Gould. She strikes out Hovermail for the third time in this series. Struck her out 2 times last night. And here's number 3 and 2 outs in the inning for Mississippi State.
Yeah, just a nice fist pump at the end of that punch out right there for Gould, continuing her dominance from last night.
Lexi Winter's going to stand in. Wanted to offer at the 0-0, but does not and misses outside for ball 1. Winters last night 0 for 1 of the game. Got pinch hit for later in the game. Rather pinch run for, excuse me, but 0 for 1. Walked once and struck out once as well. She fouls this one down the line. And the count now evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. State due up next inning will have 4, 5, and 6. They were retired in order in the bottom of the first. Look to strike first in this one. The 1-1, well, just misses outside. Now the count 2-1.
Yeah, fastball on the outside edge. Doesn't miss by much. We saw last night, Peja Gould didn't really get behind in many counts this time, 2-1.
And this one swung on and fouled over to the on-deck circle. And the count now evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes with deuces on the board. Now 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Top of the second inning.
Yeah, heads up play there for Davis for the Gamecocks, as that was a foul tip directly off the right edge and nearly hit Davis on the on-deck circle on the right side.
Cameraman's got to stay aware, so does the batter in the on-deck circle. This one misses low in the dirt. Count runs full now, 3-2.
Yeah, definitely a throwaway pitch for Peja right there. Is that one trying to get a swing and a miss, and we saw a bunch of those strikeouts last night with the swing and miss.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on, sent through the 6-hole, past the diving glove of Stiles and in the left field. A 2-out single for Lexi Winters, and the Gamecocks have life here in the top of the second.
Yeah, hats off to Winters. A very competitive at-bat, a battle on the full count, and right there, Peja just has to throw a pitch that she can hit because the previous pitch was in the dirt and gives her a pitch to hit, splits the third baseman and shortstop, and gives you a nice single with 2 outs.
Tate Davis now going to stand in, swing and a miss for strike 1. Way off of that one. Davis with that average now at 296, a 194 hitter with 2 outs this season. Last night went 0 for 1 with a walk. Throw back to first after the swing and a miss, not in time, and almost got Winters there at first. Rivera has been active in this series, threw out a runner at second last night, and almost active there with an out.
Man, Rivera's got to be one of the best catchers I've seen in the SEC. That throw was definitely on time. I don't think the tag was in time.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So State able to get out of it anyway. Another swing and a miss and a strikeout for Peja Gould. Third of the ball game, second of the inning, in Mississippi State will head to the bottom half of the second inning with 4, 5, and 6 due up in Ernstis, Bernardini, and Keller, looking to grab their first hit of the ball game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base for South Carolina in the top of the second. We are scoreless, 0-0 in a series-deciding Game 3 between MSU and USC. Back in a moment for more Mississippi State softball. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Bulldog Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and Learfield.
Everything is just a little easier when you feel at home. At Cadence Bank, we're proud to be part of your home team, and we never stop working to give you a competitive advantage. Stop by a branch or visit us online at cadencebank.com to learn more about how we're helping opportunity take shape for our community.
There's a hit out to left field. This one is gone.
Cadence Bank, a proud sponsor of Mississippi State Athletics. Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Hey fans, I know you'd do anything for a win on game day and an ice-cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, sitting on your lucky stool at the bar, or standing in the fan section all game long, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. And there's nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. We head to the bottom of the second inning here in Starkville at News Park. Mississippi State and South Carolina tied at 0 in Game 3, a series-deciding Game 3. Both teams took a game in this series, and Carolina won 2-0 on Saturday. Bulldogs won 2-0 yesterday, and so State trying to grab their first SEC series win of the season. Paige Ernst standing in against the righty in Emma Friedel, and the first pitch to her misses for ball 1. Ernstis, 143 average, had that big bunt last night that moved over Allie Supan, who later scored in the inning. The Bulldogs scored 2 in that 6th inning to win the game.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those plays that doesn't really look the best on the stat sheet, but it's honestly, in my eyes, that was probably the play of the game, just to advance the runner, and then you get the next fielder's choice that you're able to, and the error to get things going for the Bulldogs.
After starting off 1-0, count quickly to 1-2 with 2 strikes. Yeah, it was a huge play there, just the little things for Mississippi State, and those are so important. Just a fundamental play right there, and she was able to execute it perfectly last night. The 1-2 to her, swung on, sit in the left, back, gone, home run. Paige Ernstis with a home run to left. Her first home run of the year, and it puts the Bulldogs up 1-0 here in Game 3.
Ernstis, who comes into this game, into this series, gets the start at the cleanup spot, isn't the best batter on this roster, but right here, she does exactly what her job is. She cleans up the bases for the Bulldogs. 2-run shot out to left field.
Bulldogs.
Solo shot, rather.
Bulldogs up 1-0. That solo shot there. What a way to start the inning, and what a way for Ernstis to grab her first home run in them series-deciding Game 3. And the Bulldogs have the early lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Morgan Bernardini going to stand in, and the first pitch to her misses low for ball 1.
Yeah, me and Ty were talking just earlier how we have such a great pitching staff on this team, and just some batters to step up in small ways helps.
Bernardini sends this one through in the right field, and a single for Mississippi State. The Bulldogs continuing to move here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0, and now a runner at first base.
The thing about this sport, Ty, is that hitting is a contagious act. We see that Ernst's solo shot out to left field, right back, the 1-0 pitch, sends it right up the right side and splits the first and second baseman. Now the bats are starting to roll.
Kinley Keller now will stand in. First pitch to her, a strike. Bulldogs, again with that solo shot from Paige Ernstis. They lead 1-0. A runner at first base and Morgan Bernardini. Keller fouls this one back. Count now 0-2 on her. Had that big RBI single in the 6th last night to push the lead out to 2 for Mississippi State. John, you just got that distance on the home run. What was it?
Paige Ernstis, 228 out to left field. Solo shot really gets things going for Mississippi State.
Again, her first on the year. Appreciate you, John, for getting the distance there. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Keller. 333 average now, or excuse me, 383 in her freshman season. She's been great this year. Highly touted freshman, too, coming out of New Braunfels, Texas, and has been solid for State. This one fouled off, and Keller staying alive. Count stays where it is. Still no outs in the inning for the Bulldogs, with Morgan Bernardini at first base, who's Bernardini, John, has had a solid series. 2 hits last night, 2 for 6 now, or 2 for 6 coming in now, 3 for 7 in the series so far.
That just goes to show how valuable veteran leadership is on this roster.
Yeah, for sure. This one misses low now, 2-2. Got to speak to that. Bernardini had a great junior year last year, senior on this team, out in left field. Able to keep the inning going after the home run. State still working with no outs. The 2-2 to Keller, fouls it away, and still staying alive here. Bulldogs doing a good job here in the second, looking to extend on that lead. So it was the first home run of the series between these two squads. Bulldogs have been known to hit home runs under Coach Samantha Ricketts. Had a couple last weekend, and their first this weekend. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice pitch there. Looked like an off-speed, maybe a drop ball there from Friedel, and one gone in the bottom of the second for Mississippi State. That'll bring up Anna Carter, transfer from Southern Illinois for Carter.
Yeah, the only lefty in the lineup, batting .250, steps up, and this time we see how the analytic side of the game here with the righty-lefty matchup.
Won't offer at the high first pitch, and count now 1-0 to the senior out of Athens, Alabama. Did not play last night. Pinch hit in game 1 and was put out in play in the field. So 0 for 1 so far this series. 1-0 to her with Bernardini on first. And foul ball there back to the net. The count evens where it is 1-1. That wind blowing out to left field too, really left center, teetering between left field and left center, and so definitely helped Ernstis' ball get out of here, but she hit that one well. And last night too, and really all series, has had solid contact on the ball. Has had a lot of trust put on her too, moving up into that cleanup spot.
Yeah,
1-1 catches the zone, now 1-2.
Yeah, really important, especially with see how we have all these left-handed or right-handed batters rather that are in the lineup, and this time it kind of helps to send it out deep and let the wind take its course.
1-2 count to Carter. Swing and a fly ball into left. Could be playable in foul territory for Lelio, and it is. Makes the grab near the wall in foul territory for out number 2. So the Bulldogs with a leadoff home run and a single from Bernardini. And now have 2 outs in the inning for the 8-hole hitter in Des Rivera.
Yeah, you get the strikeout on Keller, and then you get a fly out to a very, very athletic left fielder in Lelio, and she's going to make plays out there in left.
First pitch to Rivera misses for ball 1. Maroon and white chants here at News Park. 1 for 6 so far this series is Des Rivera. Catcher, transfer from Oregon State. Played with Iowa as well earlier in her career. Been really great and played a great behind the plate for Mississippi State this year. Is 1-0, catches zone now 1-1. We've seen it throughout this series as well, how sharp she's been. Threw out a runner last night at second base. Tried to snap throw one over to first earlier in this one. The throw was on the money. This one popped in the air. Shelton calling off everybody. Ball, and she makes the grab for out number 3. But the Bulldogs able to grab their first run of the ball game. The earliest a run has been scored in this series, John, and we'll keep it right here during the break between innings. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on base. But for Mississippi State and for Peja Gould to be able to see an early run in a ball game where she had been working for 5 innings, or rather 6 innings yesterday, until she saw a run on the scoreboard or 2 runs on the scoreboard for State. To see an early run here, sure that's big for her confidence and for the rest of everybody else's confidence on this Bulldog squad.
Yeah, not that it makes a difference for Peja Gould, but it definitely helps for a lot of pitchers to know that they have a little bit of room to work with. Not that that's going to take your guard off, but it also leaves some room. So maybe you can pitch, maybe take a pitch off with maybe some off-speed pitches and see if maybe you can work those in and maybe get a few swing and misses rather than trying to pound the zone every single pitch. So Peja Gould, she's right on track if she can keep it up.
So it'll be 9-1-2 for Carolina due up. Anderson, Lelio, and Shelton. Lelio and Shelton both 0 for 1 today. Shelton reached in the first with an error. But looking at those three combined from what they've seen this series from Peja Gould, let me look at this real quick. 0 for 1, 0 for 3, 0 for 3 yesterday. So those three combined 0 for 7 yesterday, and now 0 for 9 with 0 for 2 today, now 0 for 9 against Peja Gould this entire series. So, and again, Gould only allowed 2 hits yesterday, so has just been dominating this Carolina order, and great to see too because she has struggled a little bit in SEC play. You look back at that game 3 against Georgia and allowed a lot of runs in that game 3. So good to see it. She's got that confidence and that swagger back at least a little bit here in this series against the Gamecocks.
No doubt. And Peja Gould, she's a rock star. So for her to come back into conference play, get her swagger back, like you said, get back in the right mojo, and pitch like the pitcher that we know that she can be.
So Shea Anderson going to step in for South Carolina here. In the top of the third inning, Bulldogs up 1-0 over the Gamecocks after a Paige Ernst's solo shot in the left. First pitch to Anderson misses for ball 1. This one catches the inner half. Now the count evens up at 1-1. Anderson, her first plate appearance today, 0 for so far in this series. Went 0 for 3 on Saturday, and 0 for 1, as I mentioned yesterday. Goes around on this one, a check swing and a miss for second strike, so now 1-2.
Yeah, that's the kind of pitch that if you're Anderson, you're probably shaking your head after the fact. Peja Gould gets a nice, nasty swing and miss.
This one out of the zone, 2-2 now.
Yeah, you get a 1-2 pitch on Anderson, and Peja Gould has just always been ahead in a lot of these counts, and she's able to throw these nice pitches.
This one fouled back to the netting, and the count will stay where it is at 2-2 strikes. Saw earlier today, I'm going to go look at it real quick on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. We'll let this 2-2 pitch commence here from Gould, and a swing and a hard line drive sent to Stiles, and she's able to make the grab for out number 1. Lineup will flip over, but the Bulldogs have 1 out here in the top half of the third. Softball America released their position rankings for April earlier today. Bulldogs one of 2 schools in the country with 2 arms in that top 10 for the pitcher rankings. Peja Gould at number 6, and then Alyssa Faircloth at number 7. So just impressive from Mississippi State's pitching staff. This one, a ball outside. Lelio showed bunt and pulled back in time. The count now 1-0, but impressive for Mississippi State. Again, one of only 2 schools in the country with 2 arms in the top 10 of Softball America's positional rankings. This one sent out to right. On it is Sells, and able to make the grab for out number 2.
Yeah, and that's just the benefits of the transfer portal. I mean, you bring in Peja Gould, who's the 2025 SoCon Pitcher of the Year, and for her to now be a Bulldog, and what that means whenever you have Faircloth, you get Faircloth on a Friday night, you get Peja Gould on Saturday, and it's pretty tough if you have those first 2 in Game 1 and Game 2, and then the flexibility to weave them in Game 3 with Peja, who pitches 7 innings, a complete game last night, and now she gets the start tonight. You just have that flexibility.
First pitch to Carly Shelton misses for ball 1, and here's the 1-0. Swung on and sent in the shallow left. Ranging back is Stiles and able to make the grab on the move for out number 3. So Carolina retired in order for the first time in the ball game after the Bulldogs take the lead in the bottom half of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base in the top of the third for South Carolina. We'll move to the bottom half of the third inning, where Mississippi State leads 1-0 over South Carolina in Game 3. Bulldogs looking for their first conference series win, and out in front early, 1-0 on the Gamecocks. Back in just a minute for more Bulldog softball. I'm Tad Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Maroon and White Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network in Learfield.
Ever imagine one company could transform how you live and work? With C-Spire, you're connected with advanced technology that enhances everything you do. How you order your morning coffee.
Order my usual.
How you secure your company's data. Even how you implement AI to increase productivity.
And next quarter is looking even better.
Giving you the confidence and control to accelerate business growth. There's more to see. C-Spire. Customer inspired.
Southern Ag Services and Alliance Ag Risk Management have deep roots in the farming communities of Mississippi and the Mid-South. Using crop insurance and research-based agronomy, our strategies will minimize your production risks and maximize your economic returns. Partnering with us ensures you'll get years of farming experience and local successes to help you make solid decisions. Alliance Ag Risk Management and Southern Ag Services, 662-268-8006.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network on Learfield. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. We head to the bottom half of the third inning here in Starkville in a series-deciding Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina. The Bulldogs up early 1-0 over South Carolina. Paige Ernstis home run into left field in the bottom half of the second inning is all that separates these two squads. It'll be 9-1-2 due up for Mississippi State here in the bottom of the third, facing off again against Emma Friedel. And as Zion Romero in the 9 spot takes the first pitch for ball 1. Romero getting the start again today at second base. This one misses low. Now quickly the count 2-0. Getting the start again at second base. Hit Gabby Schaefer start at second in Game 1, but Romero with back-to-back starts in Game 2 and 3. Here's a 2-0 to her. Swings through it. There's strike 1. Sophomore out of Lake Elsinore, California. Played a couple ball games last year for Mississippi State off the bench. A lot more action this season. 2-1. This is outside now, 3-1.
Yeah, great eye from Romero right there. Like to see her be patient throughout this entire at-bat and see what she does here.
Here's a 3-1. Slow roller over to third. Davis up with it. Throw off balance and in time to first for out number 1. So just rolls over that one and sends it to third. Davis has been active for Carolina early today, and there's out number 1 for State in the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, we talk about how active this third base position has been for today, but right there, a textbook fielding play right there. You get a high chopper. You want to be able to attack that high ball first, that it makes the throw a little bit easier over to first base and get the throw in time.
Kiara Sells now going to stand in. 0 for 1 today. First pitch to her misses for ball 1. Davis at third base, already 3 assists so far today, so early on has been active. Barbary also for State has made a couple of plays as well. 1-0 misses, now 2-0. Go back and look at that for Barbary. I know she caught one line drive. Yeah, one put out on the line drive that she caught back in the first inning. Sells ahead in the count, 2-0. 1 out in the inning for State. This one able to find the inner half for strike 1. So noticed, so far through these first 2 batters for Friedel, struggling and getting ahead early in counts. Maybe that's a good sign for State, but they got to use it to their advantage. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Nice off-speed pitch there from Friedel. Now, as I say that, gets back in the count quickly, 2-2.
Well, no, I like what you're thinking there, Ty, and I think it's definitely progress from the past couple of games as these batters are being a little bit more patient, letting the game come to them.
2-2 now on Sells. Slow grounder, sent right back to Friedel. Up with it, throw to first in time. There's out number 2. The Bulldogs have been retired 2 straight times to start the third, and Morgan Stiles now will stand in.
Yeah, and a lot of these outs, they haven't just been really bad at-bats. They haven't been strikeouts, and it hasn't been Friedel having her way with this lineup, but it's been a lot of ground balls, a lot of hard-hit line drives or pop-ups that Mississippi State just hasn't been able to get good contact on so far.
First pitch to Stiles misses for ball 1. She's 3 for 5 so far in this series as Lexi Winters behind the plate will go out and talk to her pitcher. So third straight batter now in this inning. All 3 batters she's seen. She started off the counts with balls, but 3 for 5 this series is Stiles. On a 9-game reach base streak, so looking to extend that to double digits. Also reached once as well on a walk in this series. She's been really, really solid for State all season. It hadn't stopped this weekend, and now as we transition into the week here on Monday.
No, that's what's nice is having those young freshmen that come in, they stay another year, they get developed into the system, and now we see how Samantha Ricketts has been able to develop Morgan Stiles, and now she's sitting at just below 360 and batting in the 2 spot.
This one right down the middle, there's strike 1, evens the count up. Yeah, State's done a good job of keeping a lot of players out of the portal. You saw State lost a pitcher from last year, Josie Marin, who, funny enough, is on the South Carolina roster. Here's the 1-1 to Stiles. That one in there, called strike 2. Big loss was Kylie Edwards to LSU. But, you've had Stiles come in and replace her at second or at short. And State's done a good job at second finding different players to play there. And so, for the most part, State's kept really everybody they needed to and added a lot of talent as well, especially when you talk about as this one's fouled back. And especially when you talk about that pitching staff. I mean, Amon, Gould, Faircloth, all 3 transfers, and they've produced one of the best pitching staffs in the nation.
No doubt, and that's what's so nice is whenever you start to lay a foundation of a program and you're able to build on those, and especially now with the transfer portal, it makes a world of difference, especially with Samantha Ricketts now continuing.
So this one going to catch the outer half, and Stiles is punched out to end the top half of the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Bulldogs, outside of that one scoring inning, have now 2 innings been retired in order. 1-0 after 3. We head to the top half of the 4th inning. Bulldogs going to have Paige Gould back out in the circle. It'll be Inslee, Rohde, and McKay for South Carolina when we get back in the top half of the 4th inning. Again, back in just a moment for more Bulldog softball. State leads 1-0 in this deciding Game 3. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network in Learfield.
Trey Willis, shortstop.
Marshall Jones, first baseman.
Alex Philbin, center fielder.
Hi, I'm Tim from C Spire. Am I in the right place?
It always pays to have the right players on your team. That's why C Spire gives you fiber-fast home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and best-in-class business solutions, all backed by local 24/7 support. C Spire, customer inspired.
Hi, I'm Jake Mangum. Life is about making the most of your at-bats. So if you struck out looking for auto insurance, give Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance a shot. Farm Bureau Insurance is offering huge discounts on their auto rates. In fact, over the last 12 months, Farm Bureau Insurance has taken 3 rate reductions. Talk about coming through in the clutch. So if you were with us before, you're new to Farm Bureau, it's time to come home. Visit msfbins.com to find great new rates on auto insurance. And go with the home team.
The Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. Bulldogs lead 1-0 here in Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina. Solo home run from Paige Ernstis was able to get the Bulldogs on top, and Paige Gould's been working so far, John, here in this ball game. What's her stats looking like so far through 3?
Man, she's looking really good. Similar story as last night. She's only given up 1 hit so far, and she's got 3 Ks, so not exactly what it's been last night. She's been able to rely on a lot of her defense to be able to get her out of innings, but I don't think she's complaining right now. She's only at 35 pitches through 3 innings. That gives us a good sign that she might be due for some more innings if she's up for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, continuing to try and work through this order as well as quick as possible because, pitches are – I mean, last night she threw 102, so it's very quick, and you can come back and because she's starting today, it's a different, obviously, arm slot.
Oh, definitely.
So she could throw a lot more. But the important thing with keeping that pitch count low and staying through the order quickly is that you don't let them see you as much because they saw her last night, and I've seen her now. The top of the order, seen her twice, so. This is going through the second time in the order here, so that's important as we move along here in the ball game. Tori Inslee going to stand in. First pitch to her. Catches the outer half for strike 1. So Gould getting back to it. Bulldogs, a little bit of a shift in the outfield. Kinley Keller moves to right, and Greta Grassel in center field now. 0-1 misses low for ball 1. I'll read you the full field alignment. Battery is Gould in the circle, and Rivera behind the plate. Infield, Barbary at third, Stiles at short, Romero at second, Ernstis at first. In the outfield, Bernardini in left, Grassel in center, and Keller in right field. Inslee trying to show bunt here. Pulled back and looked at a strike. 1-2 now the count on Inslee. 0 for 1 in the ball game today.
Yeah, it's what I love most about Paige Gould is that she gets ahead and stays ahead. Now 1-2 count.
This one misses outside. Now 2-2. Maybe trying to generate a swing and a miss there. Off-speed pitch just missed outside. And now 2-2 on Inslee.
Yeah, and whenever you're ahead, you have that luxury to have those throwaway pitches.
This one swung on, sent over to the state bench. The count will stay where it is. Again, Inslee went 0 for 3 last night, struck out 2 times. Cade looking in the first, so now, I think I mentioned it earlier, but it struck out in 3 out of the 4 at-bats that she's faced. Paige Gould. Gould looking to make that 4 out of 5. Here's the pitch. Swing and a dribbler up to Gould. She's up with it. Throw with the right hand over the first in time. There's out number 1 for Mississippi State in the top half of the 4th.
Yes, easy work for Gould. Just a slow dribbler right to her. Just a little pitch and catch and easy out number 1.
What's been great, too, from Gould so far is being able to get the first out in every single inning so far. Every inning she's been able to retire the first batter in the order for South Carolina. That's been incredibly impressive. Ariana Rhodey going to stand in. First pitch to her misses outside, ball 1. She lined out to Nadia Barbary at a hardline drive back in the first. 1-0 to her. Misses high and tight, 2-0. We'll see how she battles back here. Has been mainly working ahead in counts. And now down and behind. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, not many opportunities where we say a 2-0 count is behind for Paige Gould, especially like the past 2 nights.
This one sit out to center and given a pretty good ride. Back, and gone. Out of here. Ariana Rhodey with a home run, her 7th of the season, and it evens things up here in Starkville. Bulldogs and Gamecocks tied at 1 in Game 3.
Yeah, right there. Like we were talking about just earlier in the at-bat, not many times do we see Paige behind in the count. And right there, it's a 2-0 count. She's going to give Rhodey a pitch to hit, and right there she takes advantage. Solo shot deep to left center field.
Did exactly what she needed to do there. Like you said, John, gave her a pitch to hit. She crushed that one out of here. And the Bulldogs and Gamecocks are now tied in a series deciding Game 3. Jamie McKay going to stand in. First pitch to her. Misses for ball 1 inside. McKay 0 for 1 today. Yesterday went 2 for 3. And on Saturday went 2 for 2. So has had a really solid series so far in this one. This one misses outside. And you got to be careful with McKay. Coming into this series, had homered in 4 out of the last 8 games she'd played in. So got to be careful and where you locate this pitch here. The 2-0. Pitch to hit there. McKay off and fouls it back to the backstop for strike one.
Yeah, what I'm curious, Ty, is to see how Peja responds after this. It's pretty much the first time that we've seen her in the past, let's say, 10 innings or so that we've seen some adversity for Peja, and now let's see how she responds to McKay.
Swing and a miss. Strike two. 2-2 now the count. Well, you go back to Wednesday in the midweek, had that no-hitter. 7 complete innings there, through 7 yesterday. So there's 14 innings of scoreless work that she's had. This one popped up in the air in foul territory. Ernst is calling for it, makes the grab for out number 2. So now we're 3 2/3 innings through this ball game for Mississippi State so far. So that's 17 2/3 innings of her past work, where she's only allowed now 1 run. I mean, before that it was 17 1/3 innings with no runs allowed. So pretty impressive there, but she's able to shake it off and get it out there, and Alyssa Hovermail will step in, takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Yeah, and you were talking about the point earlier that Peja Gould's number 6 in the country and top 10 ranked players, and she's proving that exactly. Why 17 1/3 innings pitched and only giving up 1 run?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That's some impressive work, and that's why we have one of the best pitching staffs in the country for Mississippi State.
1-1 now to Hovermail. Oh, just misses outside. Now 2-1. Hovermail is struck out in this ball game back in the second inning. Yesterday, struck out twice as well. Walked once, struck out now 3 times against Peja Gould so far this series. But she takes this one right down Broadway for strike 2. Deuces on the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. In the top of the 4th inning, Gamecocks with an Ariana Rhodey solo home run tie this thing up. Gould trying to get out of it. The 2-2 catches the outer half, and there's a punch out. Strike 3. Gould with her 4th strikeout of the ball game, and Mississippi State will get back up with the sticks in the bottom of the 4th inning, and a brand new ball game tied at 1-1. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 due up for State. Nadia Barbary, Paige Ernstis, and Morgan Bernardini. Those 3 collectively 2 for 3 today. 1 run, 1 hit. Obviously only home run there from Rhodey. No errors, nobody left on base for South Carolina in the top of the 4th inning. So you're in a good spot in the order, John, here as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. What does it take for Mississippi State to untie this thing and take the lead going into the 5th?
No, yeah. I mean, if you're Mississippi State, you have the perfect order starting off for the Bulldogs. I mean, you have Paige Ernstis, who's been really your only spark over the past 2 games, and she gives you a solo shot back in her last at-bat. Now you have Nadia Barbary, who's one of the better batters on this lineup, sitting at 345, a senior veteran. So, I mean, if you can maybe just get on base and see how things can operate, maybe we'll see another sack bunt like we saw last night, just to see if we can get some things rolling, get some runners on the base path, and then from there let the bats go to work for Mississippi State.
You know, State was really solid in game 1 in leadoff spots. State had, out of 7 attempts, State had 3 hits in leadoff spots on Saturday in game 1. Yesterday, kind of struggled with that a little bit, and we're only able to grab 1 hit yesterday in the leadoff spot. And hadn't been able to grab a hit yet, I believe, unless that was a leadoff home run for Ernstis. It was, so I've been able to grab 1 so far through this one. So, you know, we got to get back to what we did on Saturday and kind of mesh that and what we've been able to do as well in scoring in these past 2 games.
Yeah, no doubt. And we've seen some batters that are a little bit more patient than others, but I would love to see the game come to them. See if we can we've put a lot of balls in play, and we have not been striking out a lot, but it's really just being able to piece together some really good at-bats and see if we can get some timely hits, and that's what we've been talking about over this past weekend.
Nadia Barbary now will stand in, facing off against Emma Friedel once again. First pitch to her misses low in the dirt for ball 1. Carolina with the same Gamecocks in the field. Hadn't made any changes in this one. 1-0 to Barbary. Catches the outer half, evens the count up at 1-1. The battery is Friedel in the circle, Winters behind the plate. In the infield, Davis at third, Anderson at short, Shelton at second, Rhodey at first. In the outfield, Lelio in left, Inslee in center, and McKay in right. 1-1 to the Bulldogs senior. Grounded up the middle and through. Great way to start for Mississippi State. Barbary with a leadoff single. It's now the second inning where the Bulldogs have had a leadoff batter aboard. And Paige Ernstis will stand in looking to do damage once again.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we talked about in the middle of the inning. I'm really curious to see how Samantha Ricketts plays this with Paige Ernstis up to the plate. Obviously, she just comes off of a solo home run. Now you have a runner at first base, but with no outs. I'd love to see maybe we get a sac bunt or maybe we let her hit.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. If you didn't, that's good that you brought that up. It's an interesting, situation of the ball game. You're, smack dab in the middle of this ball game. Last night you did that sac bunt in the sixth, so it's interesting to see how you approach this. And Bulldogs also make a move with a pinch runner. It's Allie Supan who comes out the first. Same kind of scenario last night, just different innings. And I think South Carolina's going to go with a pitching change too, so we're going to see who they bring in. But,
like 25.
Yeah, 25, and that would be, I believe, last night's pitcher in Jory Hurd, and she's pitching every game so far. So, yeah, Jory Hurd going to come into the ball game to pitch for South Carolina. So, doesn't quite close the book on Emma Friedel's night, but her final, I guess, outside of earned runs, her final stat line, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, would be responsible for Supan if she scores, but so far 1 earned run given up. No walks and 3 strikeouts, and faced 12 Bulldog batters and threw 45 pitches. And so now Mississippi State is going to see Jory Hurd. And she came in last night, delivered 3 2/3 innings of work, gave up 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 1 scored off of an error, but, came in relief too on Saturday in game 1, gave up, came in 4 1/3 innings of scoreless work. So it's been pretty solid for South Carolina through these the first 2 games, and now coming in and pitching the 3rd game.
No doubt. She is a standout pitcher, and, that's what's made this such a competitive series. Game 1, you get really great outings out of both of these pitchers. Mississippi State does a similar thing. They get great outings. They get a great outing on Saturday night from Faircloth. Things don't go our way on the batting side, but this time, Game 2, Mississippi State gets a really great outing once again, but this time we're able to get to Jory Hurd. Let's see if Mississippi State's bats can be able to do that here in Game 3, bottom of the 4th with no outs. Ty, this might be one of the best opportunities that Mississippi State might be able to get another run this entire series.
Well, it's going to be also too just a really interesting interesting scenario as we mentioned before. Carolina made the pitching change. What does Mississippi State do here with a runner at first, nobody out? Ernstis sacrifice bunted in this opportunity last night, but she has a home run today, and so the scenario's kind of changed. We're also in the middle of the game. Supan, fake of a steal over there at first. The first pitch from Hurd in for a called strike 1.
Yeah, I think it's maybe one of those at-bats where maybe you see how things look, and then if you're ahead in the count, maybe you show bunt.
Looks like she's pretty determined to swing away, and this one does miss outside, and a count even at 1-1. Supan scored last night in the 6th for Mississippi State off an error. She scored now 13 runs for State this season, 1 for 1 in stolen bases this year. This one misses low now, 2-1, and given a hard secondary lead off the bag after the pitch is released. So see if on one of these she tries to make a move to second base. 2-1 to Ernstis. Swung on, sent into right, pretty much straight away right, and McKay will make the play for out number 1. And so Ernstis retired for the first time in the ball game, and now Morgan Bernardini will stand in 1 for 1 today with a single back in that 2nd inning where the Bulldogs had that solo shot from Ernstis.
Yeah, I think it's one of those catch-22 situations where, you have a really good opportunity to advance the runner from first to second with the sac bunt, but On the other side of it, it's like, let's just hit a solo shot. Let's see if we can keep the momentum.
Big swing and a miss from Bernardini for strike one. Supan at first here in the bottom of the fourth. Game is tied at 1. Carolina with a solo home run in the top half of this inning. Both teams looking for their first conference series win this season. Swung on, sent into shallow right, ranging back as the second baseman Shelton. She's able to make the grab. And 2 flyouts for Mississippi State after the leadoff runner got aboard with a single, and Nadia Barbary in now two quick outs in the inning for State.
Now it's kind of one of those situations, hindsight, where like, okay, maybe a bunt wouldn't have been a bad idea with back-to-back pop-outs, but nonetheless, you have 2 outs, and you still have a really talented freshman with Keller up to the plate.
Keller stands in today 0 for 1, swing and a foul ball back to the net for strike one. I mean, obviously you want to keep the bats alive in this inning and give an opportunity to be had, but maybe think about moving Supan here with 2 outs. Maybe try and get her moving, and maybe you connect with one and send it into the outfield, and you can maybe score. 0-1 pitch to Keller. Checks her swing, didn't go around, but it's a called strike, and the count quickly 0-2 on the Bulldogs freshman. So we'll see what Supan's going to be doing over there with 2 strikes in the count, 2 outs in the inning. Bulldogs got the leadoff runner aboard. Hurd calls time, but have been retired in order after that. Hannah Carter in the on-deck circle waiting to see if Keller can get on. This one swung on, slow grounder over to third. Davis up with it, throw in time, and that is out number 3, and that ends the 4th inning. Bulldogs with a leadoff single in the center, but nothing else. No run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base for Mississippi State as we move to the 5th inning. Bulldogs and Gamecocks tied at 1 here in a series-deciding Game 3. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. Back in just a moment for more Mississippi State softball here on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network in Learfield.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Bulldog fans, are you looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Look no further. Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi offers the experience of a lifetime. World-class entertainment, unique shopping, and the ultimate in fine dining. And if that's not enough, hit the links at the world-renowned Azaleas and Oaks courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and complete your stay in luxurious relaxation at the spa. Your exhilarating weekend awaits only at Pearl River Resort, where you'll be at the center of it all. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome back into the Bulldogs Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. We head to the top half of the 5th inning here in Starkville in a series-deciding Game 3 between Mississippi State and South Carolina. And the Bulldogs and Gamecocks are tied at 1. New pitcher for Mississippi State in the ballgame. It's a sophomore righty out of Gulf Breeze, Florida. Transfer from Middle Tennessee State in Layla Amon, seeing her first action in this series so far on the year, an 0.82 ERA. That's the 3rd best in the country, 2nd best in the SEC, and the best on this pitching staff for Mississippi State. This will be her 15th appearance and the 11th game started. 7-0 on the year, 2 complete games. Had a no-hitter back on March 10th against Southeast Missouri. Has gone 51 in the 3rd innings pitched so far. 23 hits, only 7 runs given up, and 6 of them being earned. 7 walks, 57 strikeouts, 133 opponent batting average. Her last appearance was Game 2 against Georgia, where she went 2 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits and 1 earned run. 1 walk, faced 9 batters, and had 40 pitches her last and was pretty good there in her last appearance, but has been fantastic all season. In SEC play so far, a 2.33 ERA in 3 appearances so far for the transfer out of Middle Tennessee State. So Lexi Winters will stand in for Carolina. The bottom of the order due up 7, 8, and 9. And the first pitch from Amon, a strike. It's the first time Carolina has seen Amon. Probably a pretty good time to let her come in and have Carolina see a new arm. This one fouled back. Quickly, the count now 0-2.
Yeah, Ty, I think it's pretty nice out of this entire deal is that, over the past 2 games, Peja Gould gives you 11 innings of only 1 earned run, and then right to back it up is Amon, who has been lights out.
This one fouled over towards Barbary, and the count will stay where it is.
No, yeah. I mean, Layla Amon has been lights out over this entire season, and for you to have Peja Gould, who's been stellar this entire season, and back up with a reliever like this, it's exactly what you want.
This one gets away from Rivera, a little out of the zone there, and 1-2 now the count. Luckily, nobody on base, so don't really have to worry about it.
That's right. Nobody's hurt. Still a 1-2 count.
Winters 1 for 1 today. This one somehow fouled off. That one was headed for the front foot of Winters, and she somehow got a piece of that and fouled it off.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I thought it was either going to hit her or hit the ground, one of the 2 things. Nonetheless, a foul ball, and count stays the same.
1-2. Oh, man, that one just missed. I guess low there, John, and count evens at 2-2.
Man, just a little bit low and outside, but nonetheless, Amon's been working in this at-bat.
2-2 to Winters. She's staying alive, though, and sends one in the left. Hit hard, and Greta Grassel, who's new out there in left, got a bad jump on it, and this one off the top of the glove and to the wall. A leadoff double for Lexi Winters, and the Gamecocks have life here early on in the top half of the 5th inning.
Just a hard hit line drive into left field right off of the edge of the glove of Grassel, and that's the difference, man. It's the little things. It's the plays like that where it's in the glove, and you might have could have made the play. Might have made the play, but nonetheless, that turns into an extra base hit for Winters, and now you have a runner in scoring position with no outs for South Carolina, and Layla Amon's got a battle.
Lexi Shaver will come on and pinch run for Carolina. Has pinch run twice so far throughout this series. She'll be at second base. Yeah, with new outfield for State, it's Grassel in left now, Silva in center, and Keller in right. Same everywhere else, but Grassel just kind of seemed like she misjudged that one out in left field, and about had it, but off the top of the glove there. So seems like I said at first, she just kind of misjudged that one. It was hard hit, granted that, but I mean, I think that was for the most part pretty routine.
No doubt, yeah. I think for most people, that's just an easy back step and start retreating, and you should be able to catch that with the left hand over the shoulder. But I think, like you said, Ty, I think maybe wasn't able to get her feet behind her and start running backwards.
Tate Davis will stand in. First pitch from Amon misses low for ball 1 for Carolina. And for both teams have profited off the long ball on this one. That's why we're tied at 1. First opportunity with a runner in scoring position for either team in this ball game. This one fouled off the netting above the Carolina bench. The count evens at 1-1. Nobody out in the inning. Lead off double into left field for Lexi Winters of USC. 1-1 fouled back from Davis into the seats, and Amon ahead in the count 1-2. Amon, a lot of her stats in the top 5 in most every statistical category pitching-wise in the SEC. This one misses low and in for ball 2. I mean, you look at it just in terms of the nation, too. Hits given up per 7 innings, 5th in the nation. K to walk ratio, 6th in the nation. The 2-2 swung on, sent over and threw into right field. Rounding is the runner at third, and now they got him in a rundown. Rivera, though, had trouble with the throw from the outfield and couldn't make the throw over to third. Run does stay off the board. Really aggressive was Shaver rounding third there, but able to get back, and so runners at the corners for South Carolina with nobody out in the inning.
Not an ideal situation, but for Keller to be moved over to right field, throws an absolute laser right to home plate. Would have been on the money had Shaver been given the call to go home, but nonetheless, not ideal for Mississippi State with runners at the corners with no outs, but at least you save a run right there with a phenomenal throw out of right field.
So Mississippi State going to have a meeting in the circle here. Both Coach Ricketts and Tara McKinney going to come out and talk with their entire infield. The outfield also grouped together, talking amongst themselves as well. Big spot in the ball game here. The bottom of the order has really seen Amon well. You got to believe you got Alyssa Faircloth loosening in the bullpen. We can't see that, but got to believe she's loosening down in the pen for Mississippi State in this spot. But it's just a big spot in the ball game. But this bottom of the order, who has struggled, in this series so far, has come alive here against the new arm and Layla Amon. And so Coach Ricketts and Coach McKinney will head back to the dugout. Shay Anderson, who is still hitless so far in this series, has an opportunity to grab her first hit of the series here and give Carolina the lead, or at least get something in play and give them the lead. This one hard hit over to third. Barbary throw to first in time for out number 1. Runner at third stays put in Shaver. And so one gone here in the top of the 5th for State. And John, do you think about maybe intentional walking Lelio here and maybe create a double play? Or looks like maybe State's just going to leave this one alone.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad decision, but I think with that perfect ground ball over to Barbary, she's able to field the ground ball, eye the runner down, and I think that's a similar situation that you do right here is you try to keep the runners at bay.
First pitch to Lelio in there, called strike 1. Here's the 0-1, grounded foul, now 0-2. It's a big pitch here for Amon. You get a strikeout and have 2 outs, and Carolina would have to have a hit outside of obviously a wild pitch or anything to get away, but would most likely need a hit to score a run outside of a sac fly or a sac ground out. So a big strike or a big pitch here. Here's the 0-2. Lelio trying to lay it down and fouls out. She is out. Foul ball and a strikeout, and a big out to get for Layla Amon. And now quickly after Carolina's gotten runners at second and third, there's 2 outs in the inning.
Boy, if you're Layla Amon, I'm sure a lot of weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Not everything just yet, but for you to come out of a situation where you get a leadoff double, and now you have runners at second and third, to have 2 outs and a big punch out like that, it definitely helps with this entire situation to rely on your defense and get 1 more out.
This one to Carly Shelton, misses low and outside for ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Swung on, sent to short. Styles up with it, throw to first in time. Man, how about Layla Amon? That leadoff double, back-to-back hits for Carolina to start, and able to fight through it. And Carolina is held scoreless in the top half of the 5th inning. Man, what a huge job by Mississippi State's defense. And Layla Amon, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left in scoring position for the Gamecocks in the top half of the 5th inning. That sends us to the bottom half of the 5th inning, tied at 1.
Man, Ty, there has not been a whole lot of adversity whenever it comes to pitching this entire series. Layla Amon, the only pitcher that we haven't seen this weekend other than Alyssa Faircloth and Peja Gould. She comes in this game in pretty scary circumstances if you're a Mississippi State Bulldog, but she seemed unfazed and unrattled, and she's able to get out of the inning thanks to that showed bunt attempt, and she relies on her defense to get that ground out. Great throw and great catch, able to get the out and get out of the jam.
So you look at this inning as a whole. It was a leadoff double in the left from Winters, a single in the right from Davis. That put runners at the corners with 1 out, nobody out in the inning. and then it was ground out, strikeout, ground out to end it. I mean, just incredible from Layla Amon, incredible from Mississippi State and their defense, and two from Styles there to be able to focus with a runner coming in front of her right there, and the runner that was at second. I think that was Davis at second base. It was. And so to be able to focus with that, as well as also the situation too, and to be able to throw to first and make the play, pretty impressive from her.
No, yeah, a smooth operator, and like last night, it was a similar situation, but on the other side of things with Anderson, she's able to field the ground ball, but with runners moving from side to side, that kind of, I think that affected her throw last night, and that's what caused Mississippi State to be able to score off of the throwing error. But this time, Styles, she fields it cleanly, is not fazed by the runner passing from left to right, able to throw a strike over to first base and get out of the inning.
So Bulldogs escape the jam. Bottom of the fifth now. Anna Carter will stand in. First pitch to her, misses outside for ball one. Still facing off against Jory Hurd. Bulldogs have the bottom of the order due up. It's 7, 8, 9, Carter, Rivera, and Romero. This one sent down the line and off the bag, but foul. Home plate umpire says foul, and what I think it was you got two bags over there at first base. I think it went off of the bag that the runner's supposed to step on, and that's why it was just foul. I mean, a matter of inches there, John, and that could have been a leadoff hit, maybe a double, but at least a single.
No doubt about it. That was a double for sure, and we talked about with Samantha Ricketts before the game, it's a game of inches, and that's the difference in what could have started off with a runner in scoring position versus not.
2-1 now. The 1-1 missed. Hurd in her second inning of work. Carter 0 for 1 today. Sends this one into the gap in right center. Back, and off the base of the wall. And Carter rounds to second. A double for Anna Carter to get things started. Light show started because the light people here at State and the fight song started too. Thought that one was out of here, but it was just off the base of the wall. I guess they didn't see that one land, but nevertheless, a great start for Mississippi State, a leadoff double for Anna Carter.
No doubt. I thought I had a chance there for a second, Ty. Just the way it came off the bat, the way that the crowd was getting into it, thought it might have had a little bit extra to get over the hump, but nonetheless, a leadoff double, and that's what we thought we were going to get with the first pitch of the at-bat, but nonetheless, able to sit at second base with no outs, and this could definitely be a momentum booster for the Dogs getting on the board and taking the lead.
And for Carter, too, her first extra base hit of the season comes right here in the bottom of the fifth in series-deciding Game 3 against South Carolina. Big one right there. Maybe a little bit of home cooking with the lights there and the fight song playing, maybe try and distract McKay. She was able to get it in time, but an interesting situation there. But a great leadoff double for Mississippi State. Carolina was talking in the circle, so that's why we hadn't got back to play here, and now we will. Kalani Sells running out at second for Mississippi State for Anna Carter, and Des Rivera now going to stand in. And now maybe do you see a bunt attempt here, and Rivera shows bunt but misses. Sells was going on the pitch, but everybody fled from second base, so she's okay, no throw back, and count now 0-1.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a situation where you had a similar spot back in the fourth inning, I believe, where you have a runner at first base with no outs. Now you have a runner at second base with no outs, and you want to try to lay a bunt, maybe move them over 60 feet away and see if we can tack on another run to take the lead over SC.
Well, I don't think we're going to do it now. That bunt fouled back from Rivera. And so now 0-2. You rarely see someone square around an 0-2 count because it could be a strikeout like it happened with Lelio last half inning. See if Rivera does. Sells at second base. Pinch running for Carter had the leadoff double. She swings away, sends this one over to third, and it's booted. Sells to third base, and safely over at first is Des Rivera. The Bulldogs have runners at the corners like Carolina did the top half of the fifth with nobody out.
Yeah, and although that wasn't inherently a bunt. That was a very slow roller over towards the left side. Made a very difficult play for Davis to make over at third base. Bounces off the glove and unable to make a throw. And Dogs now have a really, really good position for us to continue to maybe potentially take the lead over USC. And I don't know, Ty, I think this is now or never if you're Mississippi State.
State going to go with a pinch runner at first for Des Rivera and Gabby Schaefer. First error of the ball game for Carolina. They made one last night. Fifth error of the year for Tate Davis over at third. Zion Romero, the 9-hole hitter, stands in. 5 RBIs on the season. Kalani Sales just 60 feet away. Won't chase the high cheddar. 1-0 now to Romero. Interesting first and third situation, too. We'll see what Schaefer decides to do over there at first base. Maybe try and draw a throw, if anything. Maybe try and steal the bag at second. The 1-0 to Romero. Misses high, now ball 2.
Yeah, so you get the leadoff batter with the 7 spot, and then with the 8 spot, you get an error from the third baseman. Now you're up to your 9-hole spot with no outs in the top of the order on deck. Could be some damage for Mississippi State.
2-0 to Romero. Catches the inner half, and there's strike 1. Romero looking for her first hit of the series. Didn't hit on Saturday. Went 0 for 2 yesterday. The 2-1. Misses outside runner going in Schaefer. They cut off the throw to second, so Schaefer takes second base with ease. And the Bulldogs have 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. And a 3-1 count here on Romero. Got a 3-1 count in her first plate appearance and grounded out over to the third. See if she can straighten one out here. 3-1. Down the middle, there's strike 2, and the count runs full. Fans upset about it, and Coach Bratton is over there at third base, too.
Yeah, a little high and tight fastball, but nonetheless, you get the stolen base from Schaefer. It eliminates the double play ball for the time being, with Romero now sitting at a full count.
Time called by Romero, a 300 batter with runners in scoring position this season. Looking for her first hit of the series. The 3-2. Swung on, line drive off the glove of the shortstop. One will score. Rounding third is Schaefer. She will score 2, a 2-run double for Mississippi State. Zion Romero, and the Bulldogs have the lead 3-1 in the bottom half of the 5th.
Boy, that is just how you draw it up. A 3-2 count and a line drive right at the shortstop. Bounces right off her glove, rolls into left field. Mississippi State able to score 2 runs, take the lead 3-1 over South Carolina.
Man, what a huge hit from somebody who hadn't had a hit, as I mentioned, all series. And again, in the 9-hole, too, and just, has struggled this year at the plate and comes up with the biggest hit of the ball game so far from Mississippi State. And guess what, John? Still nobody out here in the inning, and the lineup's now flipped over to Kiara Sells at the top.
Yeah, and we've seen this entire series from Game 1 and Game 2. It's been the top of the order. The first 4 to 5 batters have had some action, but we've been waiting this entire series for the back half of this lineup to be able to get in on the action. And this time with the 9-hole hitter with Zion Romero, she gives you a beautiful double. And now we got the lead.
First pitch, a ball to Kiara Sells, and I think we're going to see a pitching change from South Carolina. What a huge bottom of the 5th inning for Mississippi State. A massive hit for Zion Romero for her. Her 11th and 12th RBIs of the season, I believe. Let me make sure I'm right on that. No, I was looking at the wrong player. Her 6th and 7th RBIs of the season. Her 3rd double of the year. And her first hit in SEC play, too. I just realizing that now, too. Her first hit in SEC play.
Wow.
Gives Mississippi State the lead in a series-deciding Game 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, boy, it couldn't have come at a better time than this with, arguably game on the line here for a sec. I mean, if you think about it, the opportunities that Mississippi State has been able to have with beautiful runners in position and against a very talented pitching staff with South Carolina, it's been back and forth this entire series for Mississippi State to take advantage. And not only of that, take advantage with the back half of the order. And Zion Romero, she doesn't care that she's in the 9-hole spot. She's gonna be her. She's gonna do exactly what she's been doing all season. And right there, she comes up really clutch for the Bulldogs.
So in back-to-back ball games for Mississippi State, they take advantage. And obviously, you had the solo home run. I'm not going to talk about that. But in innings where Mississippi State is led off with at least a hit, so in this one, a double. And last night in the 6th inning with a single. That's now 2 times late in the ball game where the Bulldogs have led off with a runner on, that they have been able to come around and score, and in both games score 2 runs. So, struggled there with that in game 1 with getting minimal runners over. But again, we mentioned this in the pregame show. It's been game by game in this series improvement for Mississippi State. It's paid off here in this ball game.
Yeah, timely hitting. That has been the name of the game. And this time things are finally starting to click for the Bulldogs. And I'm sure Ricketts over there down the third base line has a pretty big smile on her face after she gave a really big hug with Zion Romero. Get things on the right foot for the Bulldogs.
Big for Zion Romero there. She's at second. Nobody out in the inning. Sells with a swing and a miss, count 1-1. New pitcher for South Carolina is Neely Lamb, the junior righty out of Cade, South Carolina. Played for South Carolina last year. Pitched and started in game 1 of this series. Went 2 1/3, gave up 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 Ks. 1-1, the Sells misses outside, now 2-1. Coming into, they're now looking at her ERA after game 1. 3.53 ERA this season for South Carolina. Has walked a lot of batters, 27 in her 41 2/3 innings pitched, though. Swing that might drop in the shallow center. It does. Sells went halfway around. It drops in shallow center. Romero makes it the third. Runners at the corners again for State with nobody out here in the home half of the 5th.
Yeah, and we mentioned how crucial it is for Mississippi State to be able to continue this hot hitting, especially whenever they have leadoff base hits. But so far, Mississippi State has proven that hitting is a contagious action. And right now, State still has runners at the corners with no outs.
And now Morgan Stiles will stand in. 0 for 2 today. Feel like she's due. First pitch to her catches the outer half for strike 1. With that bloop single, Sells continues the reach base streak now to 8 games. It's reached in every ball game in this series. The 0-1 misses outside, now 1-1. You look at Stiles today, like I said, I think I might have mentioned, if not, she's 0 for 2. And she, right now, is on a 9-game reach base streak. So, again, looking to continue that to double digits. The 1-1. Grounded over to the right side. Snared by the first baseman in Rhodey. But moving up to second is Sells. As Stiles kind of tried to get in a run down there, and a smart play, too, to where they couldn't throw back to second. And so a productive out that moves Sells over. Runners at second and third for State with 1 out. Nadia Barbary will stand in.
Yeah, high IQ play for Rhodey over at first base. She fields the ground ball, and instead of trying to run back to first base and apply the tag, she's able to apply the tag directly to Stiles and eyes the runner over at third base and keeps him at second and third.
Nadia Barbary standing in. Swing there. It's kind of like a bunt, and the run will score. Throw to first in time. A swinging bunt there from Barbary, and it's able to score a run for Mississippi State. 4-1 Bulldogs here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. I guess anything will work for you here in this one.
Yeah, take it as it comes, I guess, at that point. I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen a ball off the very end of the bat and almost another knuckleball, if you will. It was just, maybe a yard or two in front of home plate, but it made a pretty awkward sequence for Neely Lamb. Does she throw it to home and potentially get an out, or does she throw to first and get the easy out? And it was a pretty tough play either way, but she's able to get it.
Paige Ernst will stand in now, 1-0 the count. Yeah, good play made there from Lamb just to keep focus in whatever she was going to do, made the play to first, but the run does come in to score for State.
And I think Lamb made the right call right there, because I think the runner would have been safe at home plate.
Yeah, it was going to be a close play.
I think it would have been a really close play, but she's able to throw a dart over to first and get the out.
For Barbary, that goes down as an RBI. It's a sacrifice ground out. 2-0 now to Ernstis. That one misses low, now 3-0. Ernstis had that big fly in the left back in the second inning. Carolina countered with a big fly to left center in the fourth, but got things started for Mississippi State. Looking to reach here with 2 outs. Runner at third for State, a 3-0 count. Taking all the way as Ernstis in this one catches his zone for strike one. Still very much a hitter's count for Ernstis at the dish.
Yeah, well, I guess it just goes to show that RBIs just come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and right there with a bunt, if you will, off the edge of the bat comes in a big way.
This one misses outside, a 2-out walk, and Paige Ernstis has reached for the second time in the ball game. Runners to the corners for the Bulldogs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And State's going to make a change at the plate. That was, looks like Tatum Silva's going to come in and pinch hit for Mississippi State. I think they're also going to make a change of pinch running as well, and they will. Paige Ernstis is going to come out, and Abby Grace Richardson going to come in to pinch run for Mississippi State, the senior out of Brookhaven, Mississippi. And Tatum Silva, the junior transfer from Utah State out of Rescue, California, will grab a bat and swing for Mississippi State. So State's still alive here in the 5th. Trying to add on some more runs. Be interesting to see, too, what Mississippi State does pitching-wise. I mean, you had Amon come in, and you'll come back and be able to get out of that jam, but Carolina hit her well, and you still have Faircloth in the chamber, too, if you want to move to her. So it'll be interesting to see what Mississippi State does in the circle. Silva standing in, a 289 average on the year. 0-0 to her. Misses high for ball 1. She played in game 1, I believe, and yeah, she did. Came and started in game 1, went 0 for 1 in that ball game, got pinch hit for later. Came in as a defensive replacement last night. Getting her first at bat here in game 3. Sends it to the left, pretty much straight away. Lelio a couple steps back and makes the grab for out number 3. But, man, a big inning for Mississippi State. They put up 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and they leave 2 on base. But the damage is done for Mississippi State. And the Bulldogs lead 4-1 as we head to the 6th inning here in Starkville, trying to win Game 3 and win their first SEC series of the season. 4-1 Bulldogs. We'll be back in just a moment for more Bulldogs softball. I'm Tad Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to MSU Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network in Learfield.
Everything is just a little easier when you feel at home. At Cadence Bank, we're proud to be part of your home team, and we never stop working to give you a competitive advantage. Stop by a branch or visit us online at cadencebank.com to learn more about how we're helping opportunity take shape for our community.
There's the hit out to left field. This one is gone.
Cadence Bank, a proud sponsor of Mississippi State Athletics. Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Hey fans, I know you'd do anything for a win on game day and an ice-cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, sitting on your lucky stool at the bar, or standing in the fan section all game long, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. And there's nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network on Learfield. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran as the Bulldogs head to the top half of the 6th inning. They have a 4-1 lead over South Carolina in this deciding game 3 as they scored 3 in the bottom half of the 5th. And the Bulldogs will look to a new arm in the lefty in Alyssa Faircloth. Started and had that fantastic game 1. Gave up 2 runs, but was enough to have to give Mississippi State the opportunity to win, and she'll come in and pitch here in Game 3.
Yeah, and I really like the decision to put Faircloth back in the game, and it's really the luxury that you have with even whenever Amon, she comes into the game, she doesn't have exactly the stuff that you would like. She's able to still shut down the Gamecocks, but then Faircloth comes in. Like to see her have another shutdown performance.
First 2 pitches to Tori Inslee. Missed for 2 balls, and now a 2-0 count. You know, John had a really solid game, as I said, in Game 1. It was enough for State to have, be able to win that thing, but Bulldogs just couldn't draw any runs. This one, a swing and a miss, strike 1. What she put together there in Game 1, John?
Yeah, she had a really, really quality start. She gave you 7 innings, gave up 7 hits, so not ideal, but she's able to limit the runs to only 2 with 9 punch-outs.
This one misses high and tight, now 3-1. She did not walk a batter on Saturday. Did hit 1, but did not walk 1, so trying to avoid that first walk of the series. 161 strikeouts. Best in the SEC. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on Inslee, and the count now full.
Man, 161 strikeouts. We were talking about Peja Gould last night and especially today, and she still has maybe another 20 strikeouts more than her.
This one misses high, and now that's ball 4 and a leadoff walk. And Carolina trying to fight and claw their way back into this one. Bulldogs lead by 3, but the Gamecocks have a leadoff runner aboard here in the top of the 6th for Ariana Rohde.
Yeah, and I guess that's what's so nice about the bottom of the 5th inning for Mississippi State. We started off the inning, and we were able to get a leadoff base hit, and we've seen the trend of what leadoff base hits do for Mississippi State, but we've been able to add a few more insurance runs than most games.
First pitch to Rohde misses low for ball 1. Rohde homered back in the 4th, which tied the ball game. Bulldogs have since taken the lead off a 3-run 5th. Up now 4-1 in the top of the 6th. This one misses low, now 2-0. So Faircloth has come in and struggled a little bit with command. A time going to be called, and Morgan Stiles going to go talk with her lefty pitcher. Love to see that. Stiles out there, look back at those 161 strikeouts. Look back further, 61 prior to that. When she reached 100, it was the fastest a Bulldog pitcher had ever reached 100 strikeouts in program history.
Wow.
2-0, misses high, now 3-0, and she's got to find a way to dial it in here, and time's going to be called by Taryn Mowat-McKinney, and she's going to go out and have a word with her pitcher who, Faircloth, I've seen, is always given so much credit to her pitching coach and Taryn Mowat-McKinney. Has brought these 3 great transfer pitchers in, but, they all say just what a great job she's done, how great of a coach she's been, and has really, turned this Mississippi State pitching staff around because, recently in years under Coach Ricketts, State's pitching staff hadn't been what it is now, nowhere close to where it is now, and it's just completely changed, and pitchers on this staff always give credit back to their pitching coach.
No, yeah, and you got to give some credit where credit is due, and she's done a phenomenal job. With the numbers that Mississippi State's pitching staff has put up, that just sets up for a lot of success in what Mississippi State can be able to do, not even just in the SEC for this season, but for postseason hopes.
Rohde going to take here, and that's strike 1. Threw the bat down like she thought it was ball 4. That one catches the inner half, and the count now 3-1.
Yeah, off-speed pitch, a little high and inside, but enough to catch the zone with Rohde being more of a taller batter.
This one misses high, and now back-to-back walks to start the top of the 6th for Mississippi State. Jamie McKay is going to be batting for Carolina. I think they're going to make a move with a pinch runner, and they will. They'll go to
Here's the Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett. Ansley Bennett will come in, the freshman out of Summerville, South Carolina. Pinch ran, I believe, in game 1. Not sure if she came in game 2, but I know she pinch ran in game 1. So McKay will stand in. First pitch to her misses for ball 1. So it's just been a struggle for Faircloth to find the strike zone, but she's got to do it quick here. No outs in the inning. Bulldogs have a 3-run cushion, but Carolina has 2 on. First and second. 1-0 to McKay. Right down the middle there, strike 1. McKay has been dangerous this series. In game 1, when she faced off against Alyssa Faircloth, went 2 for 2. That other plate appearance for her was a sacrifice bunt, but saw Faircloth well. See what she does here, the 1-1. Off speed, just misses. Man, missed outside, and that outside corner to righties, inside corner to lefties has kind of been, feast or famine. I mean, it's been either way so far in this game.
Very much so. That was a pitch that could have gone either way for both teams.
This one fouled, and third base coach just maneuvers out of the way in time of that one. Then now they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, but I just think, you get Scott Mayer behind the plate. That outside corner there to righties, and you said inside corner to lefties, I think it's just been a little inconsistent all day. I'm not going to talk about the strike calls too much. This one sent over to the right side and just got to be eaten up there by Abby Grace Richardson, who's now in the game at first. She had a little bit of trouble with it. Now the bases are juiced for South Carolina with nobody out in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, just a hard-hit ground ball over to the first base line. Great block to keep it from going into the outfield, but with a situation like this with runners at first and second, it really stinks to not have somebody covering first base and unable to make that first out. But now it's a pretty tough position for Faircloth to be in as she checks into the game and hasn't been able to find any easy outs.
Nia McKnight going to pinch run for McKay at first base. Bases loaded, nobody out. Alyssa Hovermail going to stand in. All-speed pitch there, strike 1. So obviously great that State had that 3-run 5th. Gives you a cushion of 3 runs, 4-1 on the top of the 6th inning. It's been a less than ideal start, though, for Alyssa Faircloth here in her relief appearance. 0-1 misses low. Count evens at 1-1. Hovermail 0 for 2. Look back at game 1. Had that big 2 RBI double as this one catches his own now 1-2. Had that big 2 RBI double in the 6th inning of game 1 with the bases loaded. Now a chance here with the bases loaded again in game 3. The 1-2 swung on, fouled back. Hovermail will stay alive for the time being.
Yeah, Hovermail has been really hunting for her pitch in this at-bat. Right now, Faircloth ahead in the count. She can stay here and fight for another out. It would help things get right on the right foot here with bases loaded and no outs.
Here comes the 1-2 again. Swung on, fouled back, out of play. Hovermail staying alive. Now be careful with your pitch selection here for Faircloth. Ahead in the count. You don't have to give her something to hit.
This is one of the more important at-bats of this entire game, how Faircloth responds.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big out to get there. Still going to get 2 more, but able to retire a batter. Hovermail goes down swinging. She has got the hat trick now for today. 3 Ks for her. But that puts up a hot batter in Lexi Winters. She's 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. She'll face off against a new arm. Sends this one over the head of the shortstop and Styles. Kalani sails with it in the gap in left center. Rounding third and a throw to home. In time! Put it on her. 1 run did score, but man, what a hose from Morgan Styles. And a great throw in from the outfield from Kalani Sells. And the runner retired at home. Score is 4-2. But man, that's a huge out to get for Mississippi State.
Yes, a very, very great throw. It rolls all the way to the outfield. Sells able to glove it. The relay throw home in a dart right at home plate to get the tag in time. That's not going to take any review, as that was a perfect throw, perfect relay, great defense. You give up the base hit, you score 2 runs, but you're able to limit that tying run. Even though it's sitting at second base, you're able to get the out. Now you have 2 outs thanks to the punch out. Now you have to rely on your defense and lock in on this at-bat. We're facing Davis here, who's 1 for 2 on the day. So a tough batter, one of the few batters that's been able to secure a hit in this game. Lock in right here and see if we can get out of the jam.
Runner in Winters is going to be at second base. She's getting, I think, her wrist guard on there. She is going to be at second base, so a run again could score for Carolina. Two runs did score for the Gamecocks, so it's 4-3. First pitch to Davis. In there for a called strike. 4-3. I might have said that it scored 1, but it scored 2. So 4-3 our score. This one misses high. Now ball 1 evens the count up.
Yeah, those runners were running pretty close side to side, so I can see how you can mistake that for 1. They were neck and neck the entire way.
1-1 in there is called strike 2. Davis 1 for 2 today, singled back in the 5th. Came around and didn't come around to score, but singled back in the 5th inning. Faircloth trying to escape this thing and keep the Bulldogs out in front. The 1-2. Off-speed pitch and punches her out. Strikeout number 2 for Faircloth, and a big strikeout there, and gets Mississippi State out of that dangerous 6th inning. Bulldogs lead 4-3. Again, a great another hit from Lexi Winters, who's now 3 for 3 today. But a great relay throw from Morgan Stiles. Great play from Sells to get to the ball in center field, then the throw into her, and then the throw from Stiles to the plate to cut down the tying run. And the Bulldogs maintain a 1-run lead, 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Carolina as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. John, we've got an action-packed end to this ball game, and an action-packed finish coming up, I'm gonna assume.
Boy, it got crazy in a hurry, but nonetheless, I love how the response from Faircloth. She comes into the game, and it's not ideal circumstances. She gives up a couple of base hits and a walk, and you have runners juiced. You have bases loaded, and you give up the base hit after you get the strikeout. But thanks to your defense, you're able to add another out. And I love how even though she has a runner still sitting in scoring position, she's able to lock in on the at bat. She gets a strikeout looking, and that sets the tone now for this Bulldogs offense coming in. Now you still have the lead, and you still have that 1-run cushion. Now it's, hey, let's see if we can get some insurance. Let's see if once we get this, let's see if we can shut down here and close it out here in the top of the 7th.
So Mississippi State, insurance would be very nice to send us to the top half of the 7th inning. Holding on to a 1-run lead are the Bulldogs. Both teams, again, looking for their first conference series win this year. State at 3-5 in conference play. Carolina at 2-6. Bulldogs trying to get to 1 game behind 500. Doesn't get any easier next weekend. We mentioned that last night. State's got to go to Florida next weekend, so it's going to be tough. For Mississippi State looking to get their first series win here. Kinley Keller due up for State. First pitch, she fouls it down the line. Third base, and count 0-1 on Keller. 0 for 2 today. Neely Lamb back out in the circle for South Carolina. Gamecocks able to add 2 in that top of the 6th inning, but an important throw in on the cutoff keeps this thing in a 1-run lead for State. 0-1, misses high now. Count evens at 1-1. Look at the Bulldogs in back-to-back innings now. They have gotten the leadoff runner aboard. It was Barbary in the 4th and Anna Carter back in the 5th. Keller, though, sends this one over to second, up with it, and the throw over in time. Shelton, the roadie, a 4-3 putout, and the ball put in play, but deposited over to first base for out number 1.
Yeah, we've seen how important it is for Mississippi State to have leadoff runners. And if that's a base hit, if that's a leadoff walk, whatever it is, it makes the job a little bit easier for the rest of the lineup.
Kaylani Sells in. She'll send one up the middle, but a nice play from the shortstop and Anderson, and quickly 2 gone in the inning for Mississippi State. So the Gamecocks trying to get back up in the box and tie the game or take a lead in the top of the 7th inning. Des Rivera trying to keep the inning alive for State while they try and add insurance. 0 for 2 in the game is Rivera. Big cut at that one and misses for strike 1. She popped out in the second. Was able to get on base in that 3-run 5th for State on an error from Tate Davis at third base. The 0-1. Off speed, just misses. Evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Rivera now in this series. 1 hit so far. Came on Saturday in game 1. This one catches his own. Now quickly the count 1-2. So looking for a first hit in the series since the Saturday game. Bulldogs and Gamecocks only teams in action tonight in SEC softball. 2-strike pitch sent and a diving play made by Davis at third. Throw over, not picked. And so Rhodey can't pick it over at first base. See how they score that one, but for the time being, Rivera on first base. She reaches for the 2nd straight time in her past 2 plate appearances, and the Dogs have a runner with 2 outs. It's scored as a single, so Rivera with her first hit since Saturday.
Tip your cap over to Davis at third base. She lays out for that ground ball at third and makes a pretty close play at first base from her knees, and could have had a potential scoop from Rhodey at first, but tough play to make.
Zion Romero will stand in now, swinging a foul ball back to the netting for strike 1. Romero had that 2-run double in the 5th. That pushed Mississippi State out to a 3-1 lead. State added on another run in that inning. But Romero broke the tie there in the 5th, trying to give State some insurance here in the 6th. This one misses inside. 2 are now 1-1. Rivera running for herself at first base. The 1-1. Swung on ground ball over to short. Anderson up with it, throw in time. Bulldogs able to get a runner on with 2 outs, but they leave her stranded. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. That'll move us to the 7th inning. Bulldogs need 3 outs to have their first conference series win this season. State up 4-3 as we head to the 7th inning. Back in just a moment for the top half of the 7th. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran, and you're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and Learfield.
Everything is just a little easier when you feel at home. At Cadence Bank, we're proud to be part of your home team, and we never stop working to give you a competitive advantage. Stop by a branch or visit us online at cadencebank.com to learn more about how we're helping opportunity take shape for our community.
There's a hit out to left field. This one is gone.
Cadence Bank, a proud sponsor of Mississippi State Athletics. Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Hey fans, I know you'd do anything for a win on game day and an ice-cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, sitting on your lucky stool at the bar, or standing in the fan section all game long, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. And there's nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran. We head to the top half of the 7th inning. Bulldogs need 3 outs for their first conference series win of the season, and they'll go back to Peja Gould. Gould started this ball game gave Mississippi State 4 innings of work, give up 2 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts, faced 15 batters, and will come in to face a pinch hitter for South Carolina. See who that's going to be real quick. Looks like, trying to get the number real quick. Oh, no, not a pinch hitter. It is Shea Anderson. Thought that might have been a pinch hitter, but it's not. The first pitch, a strike to Anderson. And Gould ahead in the count 0-1. Again, Peja looked really solid in the first part of this ball game. Comes into the back half now and is quickly ahead in the count on Anderson 0-2. Anderson, when she faced Peja, lined out back in the third. In total today, she's 0 for 2. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gould fired up about it. Her 5th strikeout of the ball game. Lineup will flip over. But Mississippi State 2 outs away from a series win over the Gamecocks.
Man, that first out really sets the tone for the entire inning. And if Mississippi State can keep the momentum, now they have the top of the order, so Peja Gould has to lock in on these competitive batters.
Lelio maybe trying to lay down a bunt there, pulls back, but takes strike 1. Lelio yesterday against Peja Gould, the entire game went 0 for 3. Today she's 0 for 3, so combined 0 for 6. So she probably feels like she's due. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Gould making quick work of this order here. 0-2 count now. 1 out in the inning. Bulldogs up 4-3. The 0-2 to Lelio. Misses off the outer edge. That one close, but a ball, and count now 1-2. If Gould can complete this inning, it would be officially her 100th inning of work this season. The 1-2. Rivera tried to frame it, but it can't quite catch the outer half, and the count evens now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lelio fighting in the AB. Shelton on deck, 0 for 3. She has reached on an error back at her first plate appearance. The 2-2. Swung on, sent into center, given a pretty good ride, but Kalani sails back and makes the grab on the warning track for out number 2. The collective hold of the breath from the State crowd here. There's 2 gone in the inning for Mississippi State.
Wow, that is a big out, especially against Lelio, who has been 0 for 3, now 0 for 4 on the day. And like you said, Ty, with a leadoff hitter like that, typically that means that they're due for a base hit, but this time Peja Gould's able to rely on her defense to get the fly out in center field.
Shelton ground ball over to second. Romero tried to field it. It went off her glove, and a runner aboard, the tying run aboard for Carolina here in the top of the 7th inning.
Yeah, a tough play to make, as that's practically in right field as she's fielding that ball and can't really field it cleanly. Just a hard hit ground ball towards the right base side, and just not enough time to be able to zip it over to first for the final out of the game.
Tori Inslee going to stand in now. It's a single for Shelton, so she gets her first hit of the ball game. Inslee 0 for 2 today, walked in the 6th where Carolina scored 2. She would be the go-ahead run. Grounded up to second. Throw to second in time, and Mississippi State wins their first conference series of the year. Bulldogs a 4-3 win. Peja Gould in and shuts down South Carolina in the 7th inning, and the Bulldogs able to win Game 3 and win the series over the number 23 Gamecocks of South Carolina.
That is just how you do it. It wasn't a pretty game. You start off with the solo shot with Paige Ernstis in the 2nd, and then your offense provides a little bit more insurance in the 5th, and then your defense kind of leads up in the top of the 6th, but you're able to lock in, able to get those final outs and win the Bulldogs' first SEC series.
Yeah, big win for Mississippi State. How about the night for Peja Gould? Starts the game, went 4 innings to start, had some relief work in between for Mississippi State with Layla Amon. and Alyssa Faircloth. Those two combined for 2 innings pitched. But Peja Gould pitches the rest of the 5, and she comes in and shuts down the Gamecocks. The Bulldogs grab their first SEC Series win of the season. They finally win that elusive Game 3 that they had been looking to win all year, and Mississippi State moves to 32-7 and 4-5 in Southeastern Conference play with the win, and with the loss, Carolina falls to 22-15 and 2-7 in SEC play. Safe travels to them back to Columbia, and good luck to them on the rest of the season. But the Bulldogs victorious in Game 3, and they clinch the series over South Carolina 4-3 with a win today here in the final game of this 3-game set. John Wesley Cochran's going to go grab a interview with our head coach in Samantha Ricketts. I'm going to take a short break and be back in just a moment for the start of our post-game show. John will go down and get that interview. We'll have that interview for you during the post-game show. But the Bulldogs win 4-3 over Carolina. You can wrap this one, my friends, in maroon and white. I'm Ty Goldman with John Wesley Cochran. Bulldogs win 4-3. Back in just a moment for our post-game show. You've been listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network in Learfield.
Trey Willis, shortstop.
Marshall Jones, first baseman.
Alex Philbin, center fielder.
Hi, I'm Tim from C Spire. Am I in the right place?
It always pays to have the right players on your team. That's why C Spire gives you fiber-fast home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and best-in-class business solutions, all backed by local 24/7 support. C Spire, customer inspired.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Jake Mangum here. When I'm at the plate, I'm always looking for an edge. So when I'm shopping for auto insurance, I'm always looking to save. That's why I'm going with Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance to keep me covered. They're always finding ways to save you money, like a 7% discount when you sign up for paperless billing and documents. Go to msfbins.com and discover how much you can save on auto insurance, or find a local agent and get started today. Go with the home team. Go with Farm Bureau Insurance.
Bulldog fans, are you looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Look no further. Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi offers the experience of a lifetime. World-class entertainment, unique shopping, and the ultimate in fine dining. And if that's not enough, hit the links at the world-renowned Azaleas and Oaks courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and complete your stay in luxurious relaxation at the spa. Your exhilarating weekend awaits only at Pearl River Resort, where you'll be at the center of it all.
There's team pride, and then there's extra Bulldog pride. When I'm carrying the Mississippi State University Regions Visa debit card or prepaid Regions Now card, that's exactly what I get. Whether I'm grabbing some extra state gear or picking up an extra dozen wings for the game, this card always brings it. Sometimes I get an extra Hail State from the cashier too. Visit Regions.com/Go State to get yours.
Extra changes everything. And at Regions, Extra is our ordinary. Official bank of the SEC, member FDIC.
Hey fans, I know you'd do anything for a win on game day and an ice-cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, sitting on your lucky stool at the bar, or standing in the fan section all game long, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. And there's nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Southern Ag Services and Alliance Ag Risk Management have deep roots in the farming communities of Mississippi and the Mid-South. Using crop insurance and research-based agronomy, our strategies will minimize your production risks and maximize your economic returns. Partnering with us ensures you'll get years of farming experience and local successes to help you make solid decisions. Alliance Ag Risk Management and Southern Ag Services, 662-268-8006.
Ever imagine one company could transform how you live and work? With C Spire, you're connected with advanced technology that enhances everything you do. How you order your morning coffee.
Order my usual.
How you secure your company's data. Even how you implement AI to increase productivity.
And next quarter is looking even better.
Giving you the confidence and control to accelerate business growth. There's more to see. C Spire. Customer inspired.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network and in our post-game show here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network in Learfield as well. A pleasure to be with you in our post-game show. Bulldogs with a big win here in Game 3, and they win their first conference series of the season. 4-3 victory over the Gamecocks of South Carolina. With the win, Mississippi State moves to 32-7 and 4-5 in Southeastern Conference play. With the loss, South Carolina falls to 22-15 and 2-7 in Southeastern Conference play. Again, good luck to South Carolina the rest of the year, and safe travels back to Columbia as well for the Gamecocks ball club. But a big win for Mississippi State. Final line score in this one, we look at South Carolina first. They score 1 run in the 4th and 2 in the 6th, scoreless in the rest of them. 3 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, and they left 6 Gamecocks on base. For Mississippi State, final line score for the Bulldogs, 2 in the second inning, 1 run scored, and in the 5th inning, 3 runs scored, and so Bulldogs didn't score in the rest of the way, and obviously didn't have to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. They score 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, and they leave 5 Lady Bulldogs on base, and they win 4-3 over South Carolina, clinching their first conference series win of the season. Looking at the winning pitcher for today, it's Layla Amon who gets the win in just 1 inning of work. Gave up 2 hits, no earned runs though, no walks, 1 strikeout, faced 5 batters, and threw 18 pitches. You'll look back at that 5th inning too, and for Carolina, it was a leadoff double and then a single as well, and so Carolina had runners at the corners with nobody out, and Amon, after that, able to get a ground out, strikeout, and a ground out to end the inning. So impressive from her, and that 1 inning gives her the win. You look at that too. I mean, the State took the lead there, and she was pitching with the lead in that top half of the 6th. So she gets the win. Other pitchers for Mississippi State, Peja Gould, also she got the save. For her, it is her 3rd save of the season. She started the game, went 4 innings pitched in the first part of the ball game, but in total, 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run on a solo home run from Ariana Rhodey. No walks, 5 strikeouts, faced 19 batters, and threw 64 total pitches, and then Alyssa Faircloth came in and pitched the 6th for Mississippi State, pitched the 6th for Mississippi State. Went 1 inning, gave up 2 runs there, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, faced 6 batters, and threw 27 total pitches there. So struggled with some command issues in this one, but was able to find a way to work through that one and keep State in the lead. And that's also a credit to Kalani Sells with the being able to go get that ball that was hitting the left center field, and then the relay throw from Morgan Stiles in the home, and the tag by Rivera applied at the plate. And just an impressive play there from all 3 Diamond Dogs, and they were able to cut down the tying run at the plate and keep Mississippi State in the lead, and the Bulldogs led for the remainder of the game. Losing pitcher is Jory Hurd. She goes to even now 5-5 on the year. She went 1 full inning, gave up 2 hits and 3 runs, only 1 of them being earned. No walks, no strikeouts, faced 6 batters through 22 total pitches. She gets a loss, falls to 5-5 on the year. The starter was Emma Friedel. She went 3 full innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 3 strikeouts, faced 12 Bulldog batters, and threw 45 total pitches. So, a good start, and obviously kept Carolina in it. Gamecocks, added a home run while she was in the game too. But she had also You had Neely Lamb close out the game for Carolina. Gave up 2 hits in 2 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts for her. Faced 9 total batters, but 26 total pitches thrown. So she came in and kind of provided good 2 innings of relief, scoreless relief there, and able to keep Mississippi State off the board. But it didn't matter in the end, as Mississippi State wins 4-3 over South Carolina. You look at some of the offensive numbers. No Bulldogs in the order with multi-hit game, but a couple of hits sparse throughout the entirety of the ball game. Kiara Sells had 1, Nadia Barbary had 1, Paige Ernstes had 1, which was the big fly out to left, a solo home run in the 2nd inning. You look at Morgan Bernardini, she had 1. Anna Carter had 1, that leadoff double that got Mississippi State going in the bottom half of the 5th inning. You have 2. Des Rivera had a single late in the 6th inning, and then Zion Romero with the big RBI or 2 RBI double in the center field. Big for her, and especially at the bottom of the order. And Zaya struggled this year. It's been tough for her at the dish, but didn't let any of that phase her. And also too, first hit of SEC play for her as well comes at the most opportune time, and she was able to send that one in the center and keep Mississippi State, or give Mississippi State the 3-1 lead there. Obviously, Mississippi State able to add some more runs in that inning, able to add 1 more. But again, just a big hit for her, who is she has struggled this season, at least at the plate, but able to draw some starts in this series, and was able to come in and win and provide for the win for Mississippi State. So impressive from her. For Carolina, looking at their hits. 1 player with a multi-hit game, and it was Lexi Winters, who had responsible for 2 of 3 South Carolina runs. She had a fantastic game in this one, 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So that was probably the player of the game for South Carolina there. Would have had 3 if it wasn't for the great relay throw in, would have had 3 RBIs there, but only the 2. But a great game from her. And then Shelton had a hit. Rhodey had a hit, McKay had 1, and Tate Davis had 1 for Carolina. So there's kind of an outlook, or pre-outlook on the ball game here in our post-game show. John Wesley Cochran just got through with a post-game interview with your head coach and Samantha Ricketts. I'm going to get that worked out for you, get it loaded into our computer here, and we'll play that for you when we get back. Appreciate John going down to do that. But Mississippi State winners 4-3 over South Carolina here in Game 3, and they clinched their first SEC Series win of the year. Back in just a moment for more of our post-game show here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman, alongside my good buddy and John Wesley Cochran, and back for more of the post-game show in just a moment. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network in Learfield.
Everything is just a little easier when you feel at home. At Cadence Bank, we're proud to be part of your home team, and we never stop working to give you a competitive advantage. Stop by a branch or visit us online at cadencebank.com to learn more about how we're helping opportunity take shape for our community.
There's a hit out to left field. This one is gone.
Cadence Bank, a proud sponsor of Mississippi State Athletics. Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
I'm Jake Mangum. A great team knows how to gel and only gets better over time. Kind of like auto insurance for Farm Bureau Insurance. Over the last 12 months, auto rates have had 2 reductions. And after February 15th, 2026, members will see another reduction of 5%. If you aren't already on the team, there's no better time to join Farm Bureau. Visit msfbins.com to find great new rates on auto insurance, or contact your local agent to get more details on how you can save. Go with the home team, go with Farm Bureau.
Ever imagine one company could transform how you live and work? With C Spire, you're connected with advanced technology that enhances everything you do. How you order your morning coffee.
Order my usual.
How you secure your company's data. Even how you turn your backyard into your personal movie theater.
Start movie night.
Own your day on the network for connected living. There's more to see. C Spire. Customer inspired.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Trey Willis, shortstop.
Marshall Jones, first baseman.
Alex Philbin, center fielder. Hi, I'm Tim from C Spire. Am I in the right place?
It always pays to have the right players on your team. That's why C Spire gives you fiber-fast home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and best-in-class business solutions, all backed by local 24/7 support. C Spire, customer inspired.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Jake Mangum here. When I'm at the plate, I'm always looking for an edge. So when I'm shopping for auto insurance, I'm always looking to save. That's why I'm going with Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance to keep me covered. They're always finding ways to save you money, like a 7% discount when you sign up for paperless billing and documents. Go to msfbins.com and discover how much you can save on auto insurance, or find a local agent and get started today. Go with the home team. Go with Farm Bureau Insurance.
Bulldog fans, are you looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Look no further. Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi offers the experience of a lifetime. World-class entertainment, unique shopping, and the ultimate in fine dining. And if that's not enough, hit the links at the world-renowned Azaleas and Oaks courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and complete your stay in luxurious relaxation at the spa. Your exhilarating weekend awaits only at Pearl River Resort, where you'll be at the center of it all. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network's post-game show here at the press box at News Park. Mississippi State winners in Game 3 over South Carolina, 4-3 over the Gamecocks, and the Bulldogs clinched their first Southeastern Conference Series win on the year. State with a win moves to 32-7 and 4-5 in SEC play, with a trip to Gainesville coming up this weekend against the top 10 ranked Florida Gators. John Wesley Cochran went down and got an interview with your Bulldog head coach in Samantha Ricketts. And here is that interview from our correspondent and my color commentator for today in John Wesley Cochran.
Dogs win this one 4-3 over South Carolina. I'm here with head coach Samantha Ricketts. So Dogs, they lose game 1. How important was this to come back after 2 games, you win the SC series? What does that mean for your group?
Yeah, just really proud of the fight. It's tough to do after falling down after Saturday night game, but just love the response, the grit, the fight it takes to win 2 in a row. It's never easy in this conference, and I just love the response and how they really banded together to make that happen and finish the series.
Yeah, so you made the decision to switch things up with Paige in the cleanup spot. How important was that for you to set the tone, especially with the solo shot with Paige, and then you're able to add a few more, but how important was that just to get things rolling?
It was huge. We've been looking for that for, the last week or so now, trying to score early, and Paige has just looked really good at practice, and I think we've got a lot of depth in our dugout and just giving some opportunities to people and being ready when their name is called. And Paige did a great job of that. Same with Zion Romero. And I think just something that, it's really, you're just happy to see them come through and have their moment and knowing that it can be anyone at any time.
Yeah, so with the top of the 6th inning, you face a little bit of adversity and you get a stellar relay throw. Like how big was that moment, especially with, keeping things at bay for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it's the momentum killer, and it limits them so that they're not having a big inning. And that's one of our cores that we're trying to do, is keep them to 3 or less. And, it's a play we work on every day. It's something that we expect to be automatic, and having our best outfield out there at the end of the game, as soon as it was hit, we knew that it was going to be a great relay into the plate. And just love that she's ready when her name is called, and just comes up time and time again for us in the outfield with Lonnie.
So the road doesn't exactly get any easier. You get the big win and you go right back on the road to Gainesville. What's the mindset going into this weekend?
Yeah, it's a short week, so it's a quick turnaround, making sure that we're getting some rest, taking care of our bodies, and then just locking back in. And right now it's just one after another. There's no off weekend in this conference, and so it's just being ready for the next top 10 opponent that we're going to face.
Well, great win, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That was your Bulldog head coach in Samantha Ricketts. Excited about the SEC Series win for Mississippi State, but looking forward to this weekend coming up, and the Bulldogs will head to Gainesville, Florida. She talked about there with Paige Ernstis and Zion Romero, two sophomores that came back and wanted to play here for Mississippi State and able to have their moment. And she talked about, Paige has been looking good in practice. It's kind of probably why you saw her in the 4 spot in back-to-back ball games in the order. And she comes through with a big home run earlier in the ball game in that second inning to get things started for Mississippi State, give them a little bit of early momentum, which they've been looking for this entire series. I mean, the Bulldogs, the first runs have been scored prior to today in the 6th inning by both teams, and so this was the earliest run scored for any team so far in this series, and it gave Mississippi State a lead early, which they played with for up until the 4th inning, and then able to respond back in the 5th inning, and then survive with 2 for Carolina in the 6th and make it all the way through and win the game 4-3. So, and then talking about Romero, just like I said, it's so big for her, and I said this before we took a break, so big for her to come in, and she struggled this season at the plate, and in SEC play, still looking for that first hit, and coming into this ball game and finds it, and it scores 2. It's a big 2 RBI double, and just a huge piece of hitting from 2 sophomores that, like I said, elected to come back and play for the maroon and white, and they get their moment in this ball game. They're responsible for 3 of the 4 runs scored in the game for Mississippi State. So incredibly impressive for Mississippi State to be able to have that output from those sophomores who and both of them have struggled at the plate this season, and so impressive for them to come around and make some magic in this one for Mississippi State. You look at the pitching again too for Mississippi State. Obviously, Carolina in this ball game, was a little bit, it hit it a little bit better, obviously, in this one, than they did yesterday. Had 7 hits, which on Saturday, on Saturday they had 7 hits too. But the Bulldogs only gave up 2 hits yesterday, but able to survive the 7 hits this time. Carolina was hitting the ball hard today. I mean, they really were. But Peja Gould with that start continued to work. I mean, the first those first 4 innings where she pitched, incredibly impressive. Only gave up that 1 home run. But outside of that, only gave up that 1 home run, accounted for 2 hits in those 4 innings of work for her, giving up, and outside of that, Cade 1, 2, 3, and 4 batters in those 4 innings, and her defense worked too. I mean, obviously, State had that error in the first inning, but worked past that and continued to make plays late, put their head down, and just continued to work. And so just impressive from the defense to continue to work, Peja Gould to continue to work. It was a great start from her, another great pitching performance, and State just an all-out big-time win. Again, and she also comes back too in the 7th inning. Kay's the first batter she sees, gets a fly out on the second. Able to come back through that single with 2 outs from Carly Shelton, and then get Inslee to ground out into a fielder's choice to win the game. So she was all-out dominant for Mississippi State today. Really impressive from her. Continued to work and battle through everything today. Look at Layla Amon, came in the 5th inning and pitched, gave up those 2 leadoff hits, and then worked for three straight outs in a row. I mean, that was impressive from her, and just to continue to battle like that. And Carolina couldn't score a run after having runners at the corners with nobody out. And then again, you look at Faircloth. Struggled in this one. She did. She struggled in this one, but able to her defense able to help her out big time when Lexi Winters hit that double in the left field with that big play from Kalani Sells to make the throw into the cutoff, and Morgan Stiles on the relay throw was right on the money. And the tag was on the money too, and so her defense helps her out in that situation, and then she K's the final batter she sees in that inning. So I think she worked as much as she could through that. Obviously didn't have her best stuff today, but continued to work and battle, and that's what Mississippi State did in these last two ball games. Just continued to battle and battle and battle, and that's what Coach Ricketts has been looking for, is Mississippi State continuing to go to work, at any time in the ball game. I mean, something she said in the post game presser last weekend after the game 3 loss to Georgia was, we got to be ready for anything in any inning, because that's just how it works in Southeastern Conference play. And State was ready for that this weekend, and it was just impressive from Mississippi State, especially fighting back from that loss on Saturday in games 2 and 3 to continue to work and work and work. The hitting continuously got better, and I wanted to mention that too. It struggled on Saturday. You put it past you. You continuously get better going into yesterday, and then today with runners in scoring position. Didn't have a lot of opportunities, but you were 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. It's the most hits you've had in the ball game this series with runners in scoring position, and you just got continuously better, I thought, and it just impressive what State was able to do from game to game in this series to be able to win Game 3 and win their first conference series of the year in a 4-3 victory over the Gamecocks of South Carolina. So again, Bulldogs win 4-3, and a successful weekend for Mississippi State athletics. Obviously, we've moved into Monday and the start of the work week, but had baseball with that sweep over Ole Miss on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and men's tennis had a good weekend as well too, a 2-0 sweep as well. So good weekend for Mississippi State sports around all of our athletics, and so and South Carolina or Mississippi State caps off that weekend with a series victory over South Carolina in this one. So this weekend, you look ahead, Bulldogs will take on a Florida team who is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you look at the Gators right now, ranked in the top 5 so far, and I'm going to pull up what they have been so far. But it's a Florida softball program that has been fantastic over the last couple years, and has been fantastic for quite some time now. They're 33-4 right now this year, 9-3 in the Southeastern Conference, coming off of a series loss away on the road in Fayetteville to top 10 Arkansas. So, trying to obviously want to get a win back. The last series at home was against, at the time, number 1 Tennessee. They're number 4 right now. But last series at home was against the Lady Volunteers. They lost in Game 1 but came back to win Games 2 and 3. And so a big win there in the series there. But this weekend dropped it dropped a series to Arkansas. Was able to get a game out of it in Game 2, but dropped the series overall to Arkansas. They've got a midweek on Wednesday they'll be on the road at Stetson, so they'll travel to DeLand, Florida. I think that's how you pronounce it. Always a weird way to pronounce that. I never know what's right or what's wrong. But DeLand, Florida, to face the Stetson Hatters, and so that'll be on Wednesday. They have a midweek, and then they'll host State Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 o'clock Central Time on Friday, 11:30. And make sure that's right, because I think Florida is Florida in the Eastern time? Yeah, they should be in the Eastern time zone. So let me make sure we get it in Central Time zone here. 5 o'clock Central Time on Saturday, or excuse me, on Friday. 10:30 early pitch on Saturday. 10:30 a.m. first pitch on Saturday, April 4th, and then on April 5th, Sunday, 12 p.m. Central Time first pitch. So game 1, 5 o'clock Central Time. Game 2, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, and then game 3, 12 o'clock noon Central Time against Florida. That's all three against the Gators. So, it'll be a big weekend for Mississippi State on the road. It lost on the road previously this year to Georgia and lost 2 out of 3 ball games there. So it'll be a different kind of challenge, and that's no slight to Georgia at all, but a different kind of challenge against the Gators on the road. I mean, the Gators only one loss in this season at home, 18-1. That one loss came to at the time, like I said, but now number 4, the Tennessee Volunteers. So just going to be tough for Mississippi State. But, you get this pitching staff. It's going to obviously keep Mississippi State in it the entire weekend and, see if the bats can get hotter this weekend. Hopefully we can have a good week of practice and get the bats going into this weekend. And a big series on the road at Top 5 Florida coming up this weekend for Mississippi State. Next home series will be against Arkansas. They're in the top 10 right now. That'll be April 10th through 12th, 5 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Central Time, 11 a.m. Central Time on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. We'll have all three of those games for you on the Bulldog Student Sports Network on YouTube, as well as on with Learfield on hailstate.com and the Hail State app. So that's the next series for you. Again, at home, April 10th through 12th. Bulldogs with only 2 more series at home this year, that Arkansas series, and then April 24th through 26th on Super Bulldog Weekend against LSU. So you got that, and then those 2 series for sure will be called on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and with Learfield. And then we travel to Ole Miss, and we're going to try and see if we can make that trip up there to Oxford when the Bulldogs face off against their rivals from up north. So we'll got a couple more series that we're going to call for you on the Bulldog Student Sports Network. Again, though, really happy to bring you this entire series, and we've worked with state softball this entire year, and obviously all of last year too. Really thankful to have this opportunity to work with Learfield and partner with Learfield and be the official radio of Mississippi State softball. Just a great opportunity, and we're really happy and proud to be the official radio group of Mississippi State softball. So a great program with head coach Samantha Ricketts at the helm, and we're excited to be able to represent that program with our Bulldog Student Sports Network radio. So again, thank you for tuning in to this series. Looking at if you're not following us or subscribe to us on YouTube, it'd be cool if you did. You subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Bulldog Student Sports Network. That's just what it is, Bulldog Student Sports Network. And then you can follow us on our social media accounts on X at BSSN_MSU and on Instagram at Bulldog Student Sports Network. And then also, too, for Mississippi State softball, you want to follow them on social media as well. Hail State SB, all lowercase. I believe it's all lowercase, but Hail State SB, if you search that'll get you right to where you need to be. Hail State SB on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, now X, and then on Facebook, I think they're just Mississippi State softball, so you can follow Hail State softball there. They'll always post stream links for hailstate.com to where you can go and listen to our ball games there, or you can just subscribe to us and listen to us on our YouTube channel too. So you get multiple options and to be able to listen to us on the Bulldog Student Sports Network called Mississippi State Softball. If you're listening to us, anywhere, we'll be live tomorrow on our YouTube channel for Mississippi State baseball against Grambling. Bulldogs will host Grambling. State on an 8-game winning streak after that sweep of Ole Miss this weekend. State will host Grambling tomorrow night at, I think, 6 o'clock Central Time. I'm going to look at it to make sure real quick, trying to find it. There it is. Yeah. 6 o'clock Central Time here in Starkville at Dudy Noble Field. We will have that for you on our Bulldog Student Sports Network YouTube channel. So if you want to tune in there, you're more than welcome to. We'll have that ball game broadcasted for you. And then, we'll have a little bit of a break with Easter weekend coming up. And then the next weekend, we'll have the softball series for you against Arkansas. So tomorrow, tune in on the Bulldog Student Sports Network on YouTube to Mississippi State baseball. So they look to extend that eight-game winning streak to 9 and defeat Grambling as they host Georgia coming up this weekend. I'm going to I guess I might as well sign off for tonight and said everything I really need to. Big win for Mississippi State, able to come back after losing game 1, and they take 2 straight over South Carolina. They win yesterday 2-0, and they win the day 4-3 to win their first Southeastern Conference series of the year. Signing off, I'm Ty Goldman. I was with John Wesley Cochran earlier. Appreciate y'all tuning in tonight here to the Bulldog Student Sports Network and Learfield. Bulldogs win 4-3 tonight and win the series over South Carolina. You can wrap this one in maroon and white. We'll be back next week, and we'll be back tomorrow for state baseball on our YouTube channel, the Bulldog Student Sports Network. We're back next week for Mississippi State softball. Bulldogs will travel to Gainesville this weekend, and we'll have the Arkansas series next weekend for you live on the Bulldog Student Sports Network on YouTube, as well as hellstate.com and the Hellstate app. Thank you for tuning in tonight and all throughout these 3 games in this series. Glad to be with you. Again, I'm Ty Goldman alongside John Wesley Cochran earlier, saying so long. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and Hail State.
From Learfield, you've been listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Sports Network. Mississippi State Softball has been sponsored by C Spire, customer inspired. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Bulldog Sports Network.